Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Newcastle are the challengers today, taking on the treble winners. Can we do it? Cause it has been a little bit doom and gloom in the last few days at Manchester City. The City fans seem to be a little bit bothered by what's going on around the club, and I'm hoping tonight's game can put those fears at rest and calm down a few nerves, because at the end of the day, it's the second game of the bloody season. So come on, Blues, a little bit of positivity. Don't get me wrong, if things go genuinely tits up, I'm going to be the first one to jump on people's back and have a go at them and call players out who are not playing well. I'm more than happy to do that. And the club itself, don't get me wrong, I'll do that as well. But right now, it's 2 games in, we're 2 games into the Premier League season. There's no reason to panic. We've seen injuries. The Etihad deal's gone off. This game is a little bit daunting because Newcastle have just gone and demolished Aston Villa, took them to the cleaners, absolutely roasted them. So I understand the fears a little bit about tonight's game, but Erling Haaland's on the pitch. Phil Foden's on the pitch. Alvarez is on the pitch. Kovacic is on the pitch. Ruben Diaz is on the pitch, the player that was supposed to be out. Let's have a look, shall we, at the starting 11. Before I do that, actually, thanks for the few that have joined in the chat already. Sorry, the first chat, I can't actually read your name there, mate, but he says, or she says, come on, City. Mustafa says, you are the GOAT. Thanks, mate, appreciate that. Hillflow says, I'm not watching the game, so we're dependent on your commentary skills tonight. Well, hope I don't ruin your evening then. We are ready, says Mustafa. Sasha says he can't wait. Let's have a look at the team news. The big news is Ruben Diaz, isn't it? Let's be honest. Ruben Diaz back in the squad after that concussion. I always thought it was going to be straight in. I don't know why the continuations of Diaz being injured was the go-to message coming out of the club, or coming out from the fans mainly, because it was a concussion more than 7 days ago. Now, the protocol is after concussion, even during or even training, a concussion means 7 days off, rest, without fail. That's the law of the game now. 7 days away from football. Those 7 days had been and gone before today, so I had every feeling that Diaz was going to start today. I made a mare of my preview, by the way, didn't I? That'll teach me a lesson to go before Pep Guardiola's press conference, So he announced John Stones is bloody injured, Bernardo Silva's injured, and there's me looking like a right knob, putting all these players in the team. But yeah, cheers, Pep, for that. Nice one. Anyway, Edison in goal. Kyle Walker right back. I'm pleased about that because Anthony Gordon's pace is something to worry about. Akanji, we need a big performance from him tonight. The last 2 games, really. Burnley, it was okay. Sevilla, really below his usual standards. Last season, I was his biggest fan. I was his biggest fan last season, and I don't think this is it now. 2 games in, we need to rule off Akanji, but he's one to keep an eye on, because that performance against Sevilla, namely in that first half, was just like, oh no. A bit of Pep Guardiola's positioning, asking him to go so far forward, is why I had a problem with it, but Ruben Diaz alongside him, which definitely makes me feel a bit better. I can relax a little bit knowing Ruben Diaz is on the pitch. He's got that defender's nous, and he might bring up a level Akanji's game and have that partner that solidifies him. Gvardiol at left back, which pleases me. Rodri and Kovacic as the 2 defensive midfielders that I've gone for. Foden, Alvarez and Grealish as the sort of midfield 3. Foden on the right, I would assume. Alvarez just behind Haaland. Grealish on the left. And Haaland, who else, up top. Now, the bench. Have you ever seen a City bench in the last 3-4 years look as weak as this? It's alarmingly weak. Put it this way, Newcastle's bench is infinitely stronger than ours. If we need to seek firepower from our bench in the second half, any period of the game, we're in big trouble. Should Newcastle seek firepower off their bench, they've got it. They've got it on the bench, ready and raring to go. The 2 players, that are Harvey Barnes and Callum Wilson, ready to come off the bench. They scored against Villa, 1 each, and Harvey Barnes even got himself an assist. So we're not that fortunate, unfortunately. Mr. Big Squad, money bags, Manchester City that we're supposed to be. Nonsense. It's a nonsense. It's a myth. And we're exposing that myth right now with the fact that we have a few injuries, and look how weak our squad looks in terms of firepower in particular, especially when you lose so many players in key areas, as in the attacking side of the pitch. Anyway, let's go through it. Phillips, Ake, Ortega, Gomez, Perrone, Oscar Bob, Palmer, Lewis, McAtee. Palmer, that's it really. McAtee is a creative player. Palmer is the one who might get you the odd goal coming off on the bench. I think Pep's already said that in his pre-match interview just then on the TV. He was talking about Palmer's availability to come on. But, yeah, I'll have a look at the Newcastle in a minute. But Mohammed, thank you for the super chat, mate. Without signings, don't see us winning the league. Possibly. Just looking at Jamza highlights there. Looks like you was right saying that the United stand is where the losers hang out. Thanks for putting me in your reaction video, mate. Appreciate that. And yeah, you included that as well. Thought I might get a bit more stick for that, but I didn't. But you picked up on it, and they've gone and lost again. That's a good point. Let's start off on a good note, shall we? It's all doom and gloom. Thanks to Jamza highlights there. He's reminded me, over on my laptop over here, I've just watched United get beat by Spurs, which is rather humorous. So get in there. Buggen, don't you lot worry, he says. We're cooking Newcastle tonight like how Spurs cooked United. I know I wouldn't say infuriated you, but I know I wound you up with my preview saying that Almiron, I would prefer Almiron to play right now. Well, maybe not right now. Okay, I didn't actually say right now. Over the course of last season, including the first half, you have to factor in the first half, I would probably have picked Almiron over Grealish over the whole season. Yes, the second half, I think Grealish was the better player and Almiron was the better player in the first half. But on average, I'd have probably gone for Almiron, to be honest. But that might stir a few as well. But yeah, Mohammed, thanks for the super chat as well. You don't think we're going to win the league without signings? Right now, possibly you might have a point, considering Kevin De Bruyne's injury. If we weren't to replace someone for the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and go out into the market and approach who is good enough to replace Kevin De Bruyne, we need a stand-in who's going to come in and do a job or 3/4 of the job compared to Kevin De Bruyne, and that's even 3/4 is a huge ask, and you are looking at between 50 to 90 million pounds on a player. That's a big range I've given you there, but it's not cheap is my point. It's not going to come cheap to City. And if we don't go and make that signing to replace Kevin De Bruyne, it's how much can we cling on to first spot? Because I do agree to the point that we'll probably drift away inevitably because of the FIFA Club World Cup. We're going to be behind on games, so even if we win all our games and let's say Arsenal win all theirs, we'll still be behind because of the game in hand and the games that we're going to miss because of the FIFA Club World Cup. It's how many points are we going to be behind when Kevin De Bruyne comes back into the team. And the fact that it's going to be as long as it is, you hope you keep that distance small, and then you know City in the second half of the season, Kevin De Bruyne comes back, and you never know. But yeah, the likeliness of us not winning the league if we weren't to go out and make signings, you're right, but I think we will. I think we absolutely will. Buggen says that was outrageous. All love, though. Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Yeah, I haven't got an agenda against Jack Grealish. I just call it out, you know. I'm not against Jack Grealish. I'm not against any City player. I want every City player to do the best. That's why I wear the shirt, mate. That's why I wear the shirt. That's why I've supported them all my life. Of course I want them to do well, but we're all, you know, everyone's opinion's got a slight difference to the next man's or the next woman's, and, you know, it's one of them things. I don't have a Grealish, though. I don't have a Grealish. Mohammed says Grealish needs more GNA. Yeah, I think he does. I think that'll help with the criticism as well. And I've been guilty of it, going to goals and assists, because it's games like this where you need those goals and assists. Where if you've got players like Haaland, Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, Alvarez, those players I just listed, and Mahrez last season, Gundogan last season, of course, all those players I just listed, their GNA is brilliant. It's all good. So Grealish doesn't need that to worry about it too much, because he's doing that role that Guardiola's asking of him really well, keeping the ball and allowing others to thrive and get their GNA up. But when they're not getting the GNA up, and the likes of Mahrez and Gundogan is obviously gone, De Bruyne is now injured, so there's half of the players I listed that provide goals and assists on a regular basis. They're gone now, one being injured, of course. You're left with the threat of no GNA from Grealish, which now means he needs to up his game and start getting those numbers on the board. So I agree, he needs to improve. Big Morgan says 3-0 City. I've gone 3-1. A bit of positive vibes, because I've seen so many City fans saying we're getting spanked today. I mean, it's not like we're playing the prime like AC Milan or Barcelona, is it? You know, it is Newcastle, very good side, but I do think the fear factor of Newcastle's gone a little bit overboard. I think they could definitely beat us today. Absolutely, they're more than capable of doing it. But I don't think we need to disrespect our own ability. You know, we're bloody treble winners, aren't we? What we're playing at. Got to believe in us a little bit more than we have done in this last few days at least. Our bench is so thin right now, Bugger, and I've just gone on about that, mate. Absolutely. It's not good. Vinny, we will lose 2-0. Big shout, mate. That's a big shout. You're not unreasonable to say 2-0. I've got to feel like, I think the first home game of the season, you know, I think the atmosphere is going to be good. Everyone's going to be shit-faced, 8 o'clock, Saturday night. It's going to be a good atmosphere. Welcoming back the first time the home fans get to see. I'm missing it, guys. I'm not going to lie. I am missing it. This is my first home game as a non-season ticket holder watching them play, so it's an odd feeling for me to be here, but a good one at the same time. It's mixed feelings. It's mixed, but yeah, Lucas or Olmo. In terms of Paquetá, you mean? Mustafa asks. I personally would go for Paquetá. The whole betting thing's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mental. Absolutely mental what's gone on there. Whether his family are involved, people have been bringing up the clips of him getting booked, and there's nothing that stood out in those clips to me. Like, it's not like he's elbowing someone in the back of their head and just like trying to squaring up to the referee and like clearly trying to get himself booked. It's just normal tackles to me. There's a couple of late tackles, and he's an aggressive player. He's an aggressive type of player, so I'm a bit surprised that the clips going round are being agreed with, as in like, that's it, oh, he's guilty, and I'm not sure about that yet. But family getting involved as well. Have they screwed him? Have his own family screwed him? Like, you know what I mean? He's on his way to City potentially, and the excitement, and they saw pound signs, didn't they, his family, and they tried to cash in. That's the rumours, at least. If that's the case, you'd be livid if you Paquetá, wouldn't you? And people are saying he's fuming with West Ham for their valuation. I'd be fuming with my family, you know, for doing that. Cost him his career, you know, in terms of bettering his career at least. Sean C says, you've got to back the team, people. Cheer up, Blues. Absolutely, mate. I totally agree. I do think this team doesn't deserve to be... we're not being disrespectful. I think people are being realistic when they say that we could lose, and I don't think it's disrespect. I do think it's a little bit quick to flip the script from last season of going, we're going to win everything, we're the treble winners, and we're second game into the season, and we're panicking all of a sudden. I don't think it's time to panic. Why is Ake out and not Akanji? Hillflow asks. Pep suggested it was rest. Just a bit of precautionary. Ake was a little bit tender, and considering we play Wednesday, he is the most injury-prone player. Probably him and John Stones are the most injury-prone out of our defence. So they probably need wrapping in a bit of cotton wool more frequently, playing twice in 4 days. The whole 8 o'clock kickoff, it's a joke, man. It's an absolute joke. It's just totally unreasonable why we couldn't have played. What are the fixtures tomorrow, for example? Just in case, I want to see. Bear with me. Just trying to look at what the actual fixture list for Sunday is and seeing if we could have fit in. Yeah, I've seen Sunday kickoffs at 12 o'clock. Numerous times I've seen Sunday 12 o'clock kickoffs. During Christmas, they always cram them in on a Sunday. The next game after tonight is 2 o'clock, Aston Villa, Everton. Why couldn't we have played 12 o'clock tomorrow? And I mean, fans watching now won't be bothered. Even the fans there won't be bothered. I don't think the fans are particularly bothered. When the fans are bothered, it's when it's like at Wembley, you know, or late missing trains and things like that. I understand that from a fan's point of view, but this is from a player's point of view, a fatigue point of view. And it's like the Premier League are clearly not looking out for City, and they don't care about City's players. They clearly don't. Because you would just move the fixture. They've moved it to 8 o'clock on Saturday. So the fact that the game could have been moved meant they could have been moved. And you can't undervalue how important sleep is. Like, one night of sleep, and you're a completely different person when you wake up at one extra night after a bit of fatigue and running about. I'm sure a lot of you have played football before. You're knackered the day after. Your muscles, I'm 35 now, so I feel it the day after now. Do you know what I mean? I'm worse 2 days after. So these players, obviously in the peak of their career, I'm sure they're super fit and everything, but like at this level, you need every moment of rest you can get. So it's a joke. And I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm thinking injuries, to be honest. Not an excuse for this game. I'm thinking injuries you know. Where my positive vibes crew at? Jeff Spruance asks. Hi Jeff, you okay, mate? How are you? Yeah, positive vibes. Was a lot of positive vibes in the chat against Sevilla. More so than me, to be honest. I like to think I'm a realist when I come to City in terms of not getting overly hyped about winning and not getting overly disappointed when we lose. But yeah, you guys were like unbelievably positive against Sevilla, so good on you. But let's have a look at the Newcastle team. I've not gone over that yet. I got all but one right in my preview, which is Gordon instead of Harvey Barnes. The only reason I put Harvey Barnes on is because he came on with 20 minutes to go against Aston Villa, got an assist, got a goal. Gordon, I didn't flatter to deceive, but he didn't really do the job that Harvey Barnes did. I would have thought Harvey Barnes might have given a bit of a reward for his impact that he had against Villa, but that's not the case. Pope in net, Trippier, former City player, of course, quality player Trippier's become. Set pieces today. They're going to be so interesting, set pieces, because we really don't. I mean, who's taking our set pieces out of our team today? Sorry, I've got the old bloody Sevilla team up there. No one. Foden. That's it. I mean, we're going to possibly put Kovacic on there, and Grealish might do a dummy. No one's going to be... Foden's the only one, really, that's going to be taking set pieces, whereas their set pieces, Trippier, is lethal. But in the set piece sense, it's going to be interesting is because of the size of the two teams. So you've got Rodri and Haaland, Akanji, Walker, Ruben Diaz, Gvardiol. We've all seen how high he can leap. He put Ruben Diaz on his arse in the Champions League for RB Leipzig last season. So we've got powerful players. Aerial duels are going to be really interesting today. But I would say we're going up against the one side that's bigger than us in terms of bigger. Shah and Botman are the two centre-backs. Dan Burn, I caused a few unhappy Newcastle fans in the preview, calling him a big lump of a defender. We'll see. I think he's a good defender. He's good, and he did contribute to their back line. I also said that's their weakness, is their defence, and that's not because they have a bad defence. It's because they have such a fantastic team, Newcastle, that's their weakness. Every team has one, and that's it. For Newcastle, out of their front six, which I'm going to tell you now is Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Joel Linton are the three. That's incredible. What a midfield three. Arguably the best in the league, arguably. If we had a fully fit squad, I would suggest not. Probably put Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri ahead of them if I had to pick a three. But Almiron, Isak and Gordon as the front three, yeah, that front six compared to the back four in terms of where's the weakness in Newcastle's team, you'd pick the defence, wouldn't you? And then you'd hone in on Dan Burn, wouldn't you? That's where you'd focus. Possibly Trippier, who likes to get forward, might leave a bit of space in behind. But that team is dangerous. Almiron, Gordon, Isaac, scary. And it's can we control the ball? Can we keep Tonali quiet? Well, they've been so lucky, Newcastle, signing Tonali and having... Because they're obviously known as Toonami, and then Tonali, that fits perfectly, doesn't it? But Joel Linton as well, and what a player he's become for Newcastle in terms of the job that Eddie Howe's done, converting Joel Linton from a centre-forward into a midfielder is an absolute masterstroke, and he fits like a glove in that position. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. But fell behind the chat a little bit. Mustafa says, remember us when you blow up. Of course I will. And I probably might never blow up, but I'm not assuming I will. But I absolutely will, 100%. I'll try and work something out in terms of keeping an eye on everyone. All you guys are the guys that got me going. I really appreciate it. I honestly do. Good to see you, Jonny, says Jeff. Cheers, mate. Lucas says, I have that feeling that we're going to lose tonight. Oh, Lucas, you've pissed on everyone's bonfire, mate. Just a little bit of positivity was going up, and then Lucas goes, nah, we're going to lose. You might be right, mate. You might be right. But who knows? Do you think Akanji is going to be a bit dodgy again, asks Buggen. I'm hoping Diaz can back him up, sit alongside him. I think Akanji was asked a really weird role and nobody's spoken about, even the press, even us as City fans. We've discussed it, or at least this particular chat have, of what Akanji was doing against Sevilla. But no one stuck a mic under Pep Guardiola's nose and says, what were your plans? What were you thinking with Akanji? What was his role tonight? If they have, I've missed it. Someone please point it out to me, because that's something that's glaringly obvious as something I'd want to talk to him about. What were you doing? Why was Akanji the closest man to Erling Haaland on more than one occasion in that game? In the first half, Akanji was so far forward, it made no sense to me. And out of all the players picked out of Akanji, Ake and Gvardiol, they picked Akanji to do that job. It seemed strange. Douglas, big up, mate. Big up to you, Douglas. How are you, bud? The worst out of the back four is Akanji, but we need John, says Mustafa. Yeah, John Stones is a big, big blow. He is just the Rolls Royce of a player, isn't he? Like the versatility that he's obviously showing now is, yeah, I mean, he's an absolute stonewall of a defender, and accompany that with the ability on the ball, and it's a big, big miss. But what's everyone's thoughts on Paquetá as well? I'm really interested to see on the board, because I feel like the board seems to get a lot of stick for this transfer window, and Cheeky's still getting stick for this Paquetá deal, as if it's Cheeky's fault that Paquetá's family or whoever, or he himself, went and bet on the likelihood of him joining Man City. As if Cheeky can do anything about that. You know what I mean? It's totally out of his hands, a freak of a situation. And when you hear the terminology, confidential issues, you knew something was up, because that immediately sprung out as the bit of information about this transfer situation. I've never heard a single transfer ever be labelled as though it might be off due to confidential issues, and now it makes sense with the betting allegations. But the board aren't to blame. I understand that there's frustrations from City fans who want to see quicker business deals going through. It adds pressure to the board when you see Arsenal go and get Timber and Declan Rice and Havertz as quick as they did. They got their business done early, and that's commendable. Yes, I agree. That we've not done as good as Arsenal. Given, I agree with that, but at the same time, the board has got a proven track record of getting it right in the full spectrum of the whole transfer window, whether it be an early deal, one of the first deals in the window, something in the middle, like Kovacic, and then something in the middle like Gvardiol, and then last season we saw Akanji the last week or so at the end of the transfer window. They got that right. Definitely last season Akanji was quality. A quality signing Akanji's been. I know he's been a bit dodgy in the first couple of games this season, but you can't write him off just yet. He's only 2 games into the season. But yeah, in terms of the board, you just don't know what we're going to do. They've always got a trick up their sleeve. There's always. And what's interesting about the board is that they do spring these deals out of nowhere, to the point where we've been linked with, obviously, Gvardiol all summer. There's Dani Olmo was actually linked about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Paquetá sort of like shot up really quickly, didn't it? And then it sort of died just as quickly. So the board seem to have a mixed range of keeping things under wraps. And then some deals are just like very, very public. Harry Kane was a huge public transfer. Really, really public. And I think it depends on the difficulty of signing them. If it's proving difficult and the club that we're trying to buy from are sticking their feet in the ground and being a problem and difficult to negotiate with, I think City then leak bits of information to the right person in the media to allow this transfer to grow, which puts pressure on the seller more than the buyer, because we've set a precedent and announced that we're interested in this player. We did it with Harry Kane. Pep openly came out and even mentioned Daniel Levy by name, saying that he's difficult to deal with and we're trying to put pressure on him. So, and then there are other deals, like I've already said, Akanji, under wraps, and I think that was Borussia Dortmund just very willing to do business with us, and therefore there's no need to go public with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a sneaky transfer on the cards, because the money we're going to have to spend for Dani Olmo is massive. It's absolutely massive. Walker on the bench when Stones is back, says Daniel. Possibly. I think the whole formation could change. If you're going to play Walker, I think the whole formation changes, really. With Walker can't really do the inverted role, whereas Stones can. I think Rico Lewis can do that role, play right back and then drift inside as well. But I think tonight it's Anthony Gordon is the fear. And the good news about Newcastle is Pep had no problem, because he's going to sit down with the City team and say, and his coaches and have a big team meeting and sit down and say, right, lads, I know exactly what Newcastle are going to do. Here's the team. If I can pick the team, he can predict the team. You know, they have a predictable team, as do a lot of teams, and that's the difficulty with when playing against Pep Guardiola. You've no idea what team he's going to pick. So the opposing manager is going to got the fright of his life deciding who he's going up against. Whereas with Pep, he knows that Joel Linton, Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali are going to be in that midfield. What can I do to squash that midfield? How can I keep Isaac, Anthony Gordon and Almiron quiet? He's planned for this. The problem with it is he hasn't had time to actually plan for it because of how quick this game's come around following the Super Cup. That's the issue. But he'll have known before the Super Cup what the team was going to be. Yeah, Big M says, come on City, I'll take 2-1 tonight. Yeah, I agree, mate. Totally agree about Akanji. Was shocked to see him as a striker. Yeah, well, he was almost a striker, wasn't he? Almost. Look at that. Look at that. City fans letting down a big treble banner. There you go. That's positive. That's what I'm talking about. There's a bit of positivity. I'm acting like Mr. Positive Vibes. Don't get me wrong, guys. Later in the season, if things go tits up, I will stick the knife in. I'm not afraid to do that. But now's not the time. You know, 2 games in. Now's not the time. But Douglas says, too much stick on the board. Relax, City. If we don't get deals, it is not a catastrophe. We can sort it in January if we need to. Yeah, I mean, it isn't a catastrophe because we're as good as we are. January is an interesting one, though. I haven't really known City to dip the toe in the January transfer water for quite some time. And if ever there was a month, a January when we do it, it could be this one, looking at the transfer market. But it's gone mental, hasn't it? It's gone absolutely mental, this transfer market. And it's not our fault either. You know, people say, we ruin football, City ruin football. Yeah, no, hang on a minute. How much have Liverpool spent? How much have Chelsea spent? How much have United spent? It's a joke. It really is a joke. And it's like, I feel like a broken bloody record, but no one's listening to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just like, not you guys, I know you're listening to it, but it's like, all City fans will be a broken record in that regard. I know you're all championing that message that we don't spend as much as everyone else does. Because we don't. Yet it seems to be accepted and then ignored and then just disregarded as information at all and not even a fact. And then I don't understand it. I really don't. Cheeky didn't overpay for Rice like Arsenal did, says Big M. 105 million for Rice is way too much. I agree. What did we go in for again? Was it 90 million? I think that's where we capped it, didn't we? I think we went in with 90, and then they were like, "No, we need 100 to 110, wasn't it?" And then I think we right, no, done. We're done at 90. I'm also interested in how interested we were in Declan Rice, because it was really like it was all Arsenal, and then all of a sudden City throw in a bid, and then we walk away. It was very odd that there was no real like war or anything, no bidding war or anything. We went in with a bid, we upped. I think we just pissed Arsenal about. I think we went in, and I mean that's business. That's business. That's the nature of the beast, and that's people. It seems like it's immature almost, but that is business. That's how you operate, and image matters, especially in football and press headlines and things like that. The teams are walking out now. It matters. So I was a bit confused by that Declan Rice situation. 90 million is still too much in your opinion? Yeah, possibly. Neymar started this, but nobody is saying that, says Mustafa. Yeah, Neymar was outrageous. Coutinho as well. What was he? Was it 180 million or something like that? I can't remember. I know Liverpool are still using that money, apparently. The amount of how far that went. Hey, look at that, fireworks going off at the Etihad. There's a massive treble winners thing taking up the whole pitch. I've not mentioned that, by the way, for anyone who's watching or not watching. Fireworks going off the roof. Massive flags being flown about. The atmosphere, let me listen. Sounds good. Was it going to be anything else? Haaland with a little cheeky smile. I love his little lineup, Haaland. You know when he stands there in his lineup, especially the Champions League, because you can tell he's got goosebumps. And he's just like trying, you know when a kid like is grumpy and like you make a joke with them and they're like, like that. He's like that. He's like so like excited inside, but he's trying to act serious. But he's just like a big kid in the playground, and he just can't wait to play football. But I need to see him more involved. I want Haaland to be more involved in this game. Because against Sevilla, I think I gave him a 5 in my player ratings the following day. Which I don't really... That's the rating he gets because that's his impact on the game. I don't really blame him. I mean, there are a lot of players, especially in the way we play, the structure and certain players' performances depend on other players' performances, you know. And Haaland obviously thrives off service. If you're not going to give it him, then he ain't going to thrive off the service, and his numbers aren't going to look very pretty at the end of the game. I think he can do something about that a little bit in terms of dropping deep, get involved a little bit more. But then, as much as it's the case of missing Kevin De Bruyne, and Grealish has got to put in some good assists, Foden needs to do the same. Alvarez is behind him tonight, which hasn't really worked that well so far. Alvarez and Haaland hasn't. It's done okay. You know, against Burnley, it was all right. But there was I think it was Haaland who came off against Burnley. And as a result, Alvarez pushed up further up the field. And Alvarez looked so much better all of a sudden. So, right in his element. Right in his element. Looked really good. Jeff says, if only people started buying recycled furniture for those types of inflated prices, eh? Mate, the prices I charge... Do you know what I mean? People would say I'm ruining the furniture business. Like the prices that I charged for some shite that's just been like recycled. Upcycled is the word. It's not recycled, upcycled. For anyone who's wondering what the hell I'm talking about, I do have a business outside of this channel that isn't my priority anymore, by the way. This is my priority. But I do still run it, that sells upcycled furniture, which is... rather boring bit of information if you're here for the football, to be honest. But Big M says, what an atmosphere. 150 mil for a Coutinho, Mustafa says. Yeah, was it? I can't remember. I know it was massive, massive. Team huddle. I love the cameraman getting under the armpits of the players, like trying to be part of the team huddle and listen to what they've got to say. Nosy buggers, aren't they, cameramen? Nosy bastards. Everybody's saying that Haaland does nothing in big games, but the better the club, they mark him more and he gets defenders on him and frees space for others. Yeah, I think sometimes he has to accept that and be a bit of a decoy, you know, sacrifice himself. Sometimes he's going to demand so much attention from the defence, like you say, Mustafa, that we should therefore utilise that with other players, you know, other players stepping up. Kickoff's moments away. Who's taking it? Looks like Kovacic. We've all ran over to Trippier's side, so it looks like a long ball's going to be straight over to Kickoff. There we go. Timer. Is it working? Yes, it is. Edison with the ball. He's going to fire this up, straight up to that left-hand side towards Haaland and Grealish. Haaland loses the header. Was it Botman? He's fallen down immediately. Stuck his hand in the air. It's not a head injury, referee. He's blown his whistle. Immediately a player's gone down. Haaland's looks like an awkward fall. It's Shah who was fallen down. Looks like he's winded more than anything. I think he's landed on his side and all the air's gone out of him. There's nothing worse than being winded. It's such a... for 5 seconds you look mental, don't you? You're just like running around because you feel like you can't breathe. You're going to die any second. And then 3 seconds later you're like, oh, it's gone. It's fine. It's like a brain freeze. Again, like, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah. Alvarez is growing up. It's okay, I think, says Lucas. Yeah, I don't think Alvarez has really been given a free run in the team, you know. I still think he's not been given the chances, like nowhere near the level of Haaland, and that makes sense because of the goals. How can you drop Haaland and put Alvarez? Last season, obviously, in particular. But Alvarez has been so in and out, but the key thing from a point of view of Alvarez is when he comes on, even if he hadn't played the last game or even the last 2 games, he'll come on, he'll be bright. His attitude is something that always impresses me. I think he's always up for the game. And then he'll often contribute as well. He'll often get something, an assist or a goal or something like that. But he's never really had like 5 or 6 games starting every game. He's never really had that. I feel the same way about Aymeric Laporte, who's on his way out to Saudi Arabia by the sounds of it as well. He's the same. He never really got a full-length stint in the team. I think he probably did get 4 or 5 games, but he never got, as a centre-back, you probably won 10, 12 games in a row, where you know you're going to start and get that confidence and momentum built for your career. But Alvarez always puts a shift in, says Big M, absolutely. Jack says, I don't think anyone worth over 100 million, to be honest. Jack wasn't, Rice isn't, and if he is, how much is Rodri worth then? Yeah, God knows. God knows. What did we get Rodri for again? Was it 62 million or something like that, wasn't it? 60-something million, 62, 65, which is just a bargain now, isn't it? And he didn't get off to a great start. Bit of pressure from Newcastle. Isaac closing down Edison here. Akanji and Diaz. Nice triangle between the two of them. Diaz sending the ball down the touchline to Walker. Miscontrols it. Got to concentrate there. Walker lets it roll underneath his feet. Pope gives it straight back to Walker with a fired. Kovacic bringing it forward now with Kyle Walker. It's nice to see the boys on the Etihad pitch. It really is. So Gvardiol is left back. Diaz. Oh, lovely ball. Oh, Kyle Walker's offside. Trying to figure out the formation here and what is going on. More at the back, I think the front 4 pick itself. It's going to be interesting to see where Kovacic plays in terms of how much is he going to sit alongside Rodri, or is he going to push forward? I think that depends on where the ball is, probably. I feel like he is going to be the box-to-box. Hence the number 8. Phil Foden getting the ball with a bit of space. Grealish coming down the left-hand side. Pulls it into Rodri. Bit of possession, early possession from City, taking control of the game, which is good. Nice ball from Kovacic. Breaks the lines into Foden. Out to Walker. Back inside to Rodri. Gvardiol all the way back to Walker. We've seen a lot of this type of play in the last Burnley game, in Sevilla game. It gets to that, final third and we lack a little bit of penetration, and it's that word that everyone's using at the minute as a City fan: creativity. Diaz, Kovacic are playing it at the back. Diaz sends it down to Walker, keeps it in. Rodri fires a long ball up top to Haaland, who's got space to run into. Botman challenging. Dan Burn, or is it Botman wins the ball off Haaland. Got to keep hold of it a little bit better there, Haaland. So in terms of history, you're 18 seconds behind, are you, Mustafa? Or pause me then, mate, if you can. Most people are ahead of me, to be honest, to the point where I'm going to get... Because I'm on streaming this, basically. And hold that thought. Tonali, brilliant tackle from Rodri. Brilliant tackle. Alvarez doing his bit as well to slow down Tonali, and then Rodri finishes it off and tackles him. Brilliant play. But Newcastle are still on the ball. Bruno Guimaraes sends it further out wide. Here's Almiron into Trippier. Trippier comes inside. Gvardiol wins the ball. Great tackle. Offside Trippier anyway. That was a good bit of play from Newcastle. Real big overload on that right-hand side, and Gvardiol did really well to deal with it. Trippier didn't time his run, in miles offside, in fact. 32 likes. Guys, if you can pop a like in, it would be a big, big help to the channel. Oh, Gvardiol's giving it away. Gets the ball back lucky. Play it simple, mate. Tried a really difficult ball then, but he did play a nice ball to Walker. Walker's bringing it down. The right-hand side. Tucks it inside to Rodri. Walker's got a bit of space. Quite a bit of space. We could utilise that. Akanji, look how far forward he is again. Look how far forward Akanji is again. He's outside the edge of the area. Haaland inside, in the area, trying to find Foden. Breaks up the play. Joel Linton bringing it away, or nearly bringing it away. They're not away yet, though. Kovacic, edge of the area. Foden holding the ball up. Rodri. Kovacic's seen a lot of the ball so far. And there's Akanji in defensive midfield. What's Pep doing here? We talk about Pep's cooking something. I think he's baking. He's baking something. Much slower, much harder getting baking right. Cooking's well easy. Baking, that's hard. What am I talking about? Grealish, very, very deep. Come to collect it. Really deep. In the left-back position. Almost on the toes of Gvardiol. Akanji high up again, says Douglas. Absolutely. Amy, Man City look lost without De Bruyne. I think you might be right, Amy. I think, when do we not, really? Such a quality player. Kovacic and Walker linking up. Kovacic has been great so far. Walker looking for... Thought about a long ball to Haaland, but changed his mind. Better to keep the ball in that situation. Akanji bringing it forward. See, now Akanji is ahead of Rodri and Kovacic. He is in the attacking midfield role, Akanji. I don't understand this. I questioned it against Sevilla. No one's questioning it then. Why? At the end of the game, surely we're going to hear an interview like, what were you doing? Because it didn't work against Sevilla, so which is maybe like I thought Pep would go, well, that didn't work. Back to the drawing board. But he's sticking with it. He's sticking with it. Foden bringing it forward. Alvarez outside to the Grealish. Grealish inside the penalty area. Onto his right foot. Shoots. Blocked. Oh, Bruno. And Grealish trips Bruno Guimaraes. Free kick to Newcastle. Zubair says, nice turn by Foden. He's one of the best, isn't he? At that turn, he's brilliant at it. I think Rico Lewis can do that really well. He's obviously taken a leaf out of Foden's book. But Rico Lewis can do that move as well. It's so good to take it on the half turn like that. Setting up, having the right body language, and you're already moving in your head. Big M says, remember in 18-19, Kevin missed a lot of games due to injuries and we went on to win a domestic treble. Trust in the squad. Yeah, absolutely. But that season we did have David Silva, Gundogan and Mahrez. And right now it's Foden and Alvarez and Kovacic and Palmer. It doesn't sound as good, does it? To be honest. I still don't think his transfer window is open. The transfer window is open. Doku will be in. I'm more than certain of that. The Paquetá deal is still not completely off. Don't hold your hopes up high. Sounds very unlike Edison getting closed down, but does well. Plays it out to Gvardiol. First time, lovely first time ball. Oh, Alvarez gets caught on the ball. Doesn't bring it with him. Hits his heel rather than brings it with him. Isaac bringing it forward now. Amazing footwork from Isaac. Brilliant play. 3 City players surrounded him and they couldn't get it off him. Amy asks if Joe Hart was on that team. No, I don't think he was. I think we just got rid of him. We might have. Did we loan him out first? I know when Pep arrived. Pep arrived in 2016 actually, so Joe Hart wouldn't have been in that team. We had Claudio Bravo for a bit, didn't we? First, before Edison. And that was a bit of a disaster. Like every shot went in. We were losing. We were oh, hang on, the ball's broke. Foden. Haaland to give it to. Gives it to him. Oh, he's overran it. He's still, he's missed control from Haaland twice. The ball to Foden was okay. Haaland have to sort of jump and let it through his legs and sort of control it underneath him. Slowed the ball down, the ball still heading out, and then he had the chance to bring it under his control, but miscontrolled it completely. And the ball just goes out, trickles out for a goal kick. Bit rusty from Haaland. This is what happens if you don't touch the ball, though. You need to have the ball under your spell more often to breathe that confidence. "15-16 was Joe Hart's last season," says Jack. I think it was, yeah. Or 16-17. Because I think he might have still been on the books, but just not playing at all, as he was trying to find a move out of the club. But yeah, when we had Claudio Bravo, we had like so many games where we were just the dominant force, like 20 shots on target, 70% possession. The other team had like 2 shots and they won 1-0. You know, because Claudio Bravo just couldn't save anything. Like, they were straight at him as well. Really basic stuff. All the way back with Edison. Diaz out to Walker. Walker with a bit of space to run into. Joel Linton closing him down and gets a touch on it and now has the ball, but he gives it away to Foden. Couple of sloppy passes from both teams at the minute. City look the better out of the 2 teams so far, though. I think we've had a lot more of the ball, a bit crisper passing it. Only a couple of times with little Kovacic bringing the ball forward brilliantly, breaks the lines on his own, nearly feeds through Haaland. Good effort from Kovacic. That's brilliant. That's what we need. Sometimes just carry the ball. I like Kovacic. I think he's going to be one of our signings that goes under the radar, like Akanji did last season. Akanji fires a long ball up to Walker. Is he onside? He is. Foden inside the penalty area, twisting, turning, lays it back to Akanji. Akanji left foot over the bar. Good effort from Akanji. Not bad. Bit, well, not that far away, but good technique. Ake was another under the radar signing. Big M, absolutely. He really was. 45 million, which was a reasonable fee to spend. But what was Akanji? It was like 15 million. Like, it was a great bit of business, that was. Douglas asks, is Haaland more like a whale or a dolphin? I do not know what that question even means. And dolphins are really intelligent, aren't they? So they say. I've never seen them do anything like any maths equations or anything like that, but people say dolphins are really clever. I don't know what you mean, Douglas. You're going to have to explain. Kovacic has seen so much of the ball so far. He's been really good on it as well. I don't think I've seen him make a single mistake yet. Everything he's done has been positive, proactive, and good standard. That first 15 minutes already, that's flown by, that has. Nothing from Newcastle to worry about so far, really. I say that, hoping that I'm not going to regret that and eat my words. Kovacic with a lovely little ball over to Haaland. Oh, I just couldn't quite bring it under his spell. We're looking for Haaland a lot quicker. There seems to be a little bit more space for Haaland than we saw in Burnley game. Even though in the Burnley game, Haaland managed to score 2. Sevilla game, the space for him was non-existent against Sevilla. Tonight, it seems like the pitch just feels a bit bigger. Probably because it is a bit bigger. But, yeah, we're going a bit more direct to Haaland, a little bit. Not like long balls all the time, but it's like we see him, we pass it, which is good. Because he needs that service. Andy Scott says he's playing very similar to Gundo. I think he is, mate. Yeah. I think he was. The people said Paquetá was going to be the Gundogan replacement. I think we've replaced Gundogan already. I think that's what Kovacic is. I think Paquetá's like more creativity. We've seen Kovacic in the first 2/3 of the pitch a lot more than we have in the final third. But I still think he can play in the final third, like as in a more of a creative position. Nice bit of play from Rodri, that switching the play. Newcastle half pressed, very poor from Newcastle to press like that. It wasn't really fully committed, half-heartedly, and City break through the lines really easily, but we didn't really break up the pitch quick enough to utilise the space behind them. Looking for Haaland again, doesn't come off. Walker's been a bit rusty so far, Kyle Walker. What a turn from Isaac. What a player he looks. He's the only danger so far. Bringing it forward. Here's Anthony Gordon with a bit of space. Kyle Walker stands him up. He beats Kyle Walker. Whips it in. Back post cleared by Akanji. Good to see Akanji back there considering where he's been bloody playing. Like, what a job he's got tonight. Right, attacking midfield when we get the ball. Centre back when we don't have the ball. How much ground has he got to cover to do that job? The previous job that we were all so impressed by was bloody inverted fullback. Going from centre mid to right back or centre mid or defensive mid to left back. It's not that big of a move. It's like doable. Attacking midfield to centre back. How can you ask him to do this? It's such a difficult task. Which is why I think it's harsh to have... anyway, Almiron bringing the ball down. Gvardiol trying to look after him. Tonali was nearly sent in. But Ederson picks up the loose ball. Our passing has been great, says Sasha. I think it's been pretty good. Yeah, I think it has been certainly a little bit crisper than against Sevilla. Ederson on the ball. Smashes one all the way up to Erling Haaland. Into a channel that's worth chasing. Bit of confusion potentially from Botman, but no, he deals with it well. Newcastle with a bit of the ball here now. Bruno Guimaraes. Trippier. Dan Burn. I've said he's the weakness. If we can target Dan Burn, I think he's a good player. I just think we can get at him. Send Foden and Kyle Walker and Kovacic to nice little triangles around Dan Burn. It'll be turned inside out. That Tonali's special. You can tell the way he's playing the game. The way he reminds me of Pirlo. Not just because of the length of the hair, but the way he moves, the technique. He just reminds me of Pirlo. Does Kovacic score enough to replace Gundo is the question. That's what I was going to go on to, Jack. That's a good point. Probably not. This is the quality of players that we're having to replace, though. Almiron coming down the right-hand side. Quick as well. Gvardiol looks for the 1-2. Guimaraes inside. The City are back in their shape now. Isaac, corner of the edge of the area, looking to come inside. Bruno Guimaraes centrally gives it away to Rodri. Rodri then gives it away. Trippier looks for a ball inside, half cleared by Diaz, and Rodri finishes the clearance off. Foden can pick up a loose ball here. Anthony Gordon chasing behind him. Kyle Walker going in with a header. Foden needs to bring it down. Bit of pinball at the minute in the middle of the park. Rodri, big looping ball for Haaland to chase. Grealish is chasing it instead. Nodded back to Nick Pope. Bit of Sunday League football there from both teams there. Just booting it about and looking a bit of pinball. No, Jack, what you were saying, mate, about Gundogan's goals versus Kovacic being able to get those goals. I don't think he will, but yeah, not much we can do about that. I mean, who in the world can do what Gundogan can do? There aren't many players, you know. Newcastle bringing it forward here. Almiron, Akanji standing him up. Isaac. Onto his right foot, sent wide. Akanji doing a good job. Almiron leaves it. Joel Linton, edge of the area, shoots, blocked by Diaz. Bit of build-up play from Newcastle, looking good here. Tonali winning the ball back off Jack Grealish. Almiron's looking a threat. Tonali inside to Bruno Guimaraes. Long ball to Anthony Gordon, can't control it. Goal kick, City. Sub 2. Always championing the likes. I need to hire you, mate. The like master. What is it? 45 likes. Sub 2 says 44. Yeah, if you could like the stream if you haven't already, it would be a big, big help. Yeah, Gundo was a big game player, says Jack. He really was. He absolutely was. He was more like a title game player, wasn't he? You know, like, the title's on the line. Stick Gundogan in the team for 10 games. He'll score every one of them and win us the title single-handedly almost. Like, And then even the last game of the season, we'll put him on the bench and though, we'll beat Villa. We don't need Gundogan, we'll beat him. Oh shit, we're 2-0 down, get Gundogan on and we win. Like, who's going to do that? Who in the transfer market can we sign and confidently say that can do that job that I've just described? There isn't anyone. They don't grow on trees, these players. It's hard to come by. That's why the game is a game of eras. Success to this level, treble winning level, it can't be maintained. You know, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world and we're shit all of a sudden. You know, it's just a bit of transitional period. Try and find our feet again. Little bit of a hangover maybe. Grealish fires a long ball down the line to Alvarez. Good tackle by Shah. Still good build-up play from City in the first 2/3, but it is that final ball that we just seem to be lacking. Something that's genuinely dangerous to the opposition. Create a real goal-scoring opportunity. There's been no goal-scoring opportunities in the whole game. And what are we, 22 minutes in? Gordon's given Ruben Diaz a whack. And Diaz looks in a lot of pain, smacking the floor, holding his calf. Looks like a dead leg. Telling Gordon comes over to rub his chest. Ruben Diaz says, fuck off. Quite clearly went, fuck off like that. Looks livid, Ruben Diaz. Dan Burn coming over telling him to calm down. You calm down, mate. Dan Burn's the one who... Oh, hang on a minute. That stud's down the back of the calf. We're going to have a look at that VAR. We're just not bothering. Amy says, you're getting up at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in USA to watch the Lionesses. That's commitment. That's commitment. Jeff says that's an awful challenge. Yeah, I mean, even in slow motion, I know it makes it look worse, but nothing. Nothing. VAR didn't even look at it. I'm a bit concerned about refereeing at the minute. There's all this talk about Howard Webb. Hold on a minute. Long ball up to Haaland. Nick Pope heads it out for a throw-in. Ball boy, do your job, mate. Quick ball. Alvarez like, give me the ball, give me the ball. Little ball boy like, oh, panicking. Do you remember that ball boy at Swansea versus Chelsea and Eden Hazard like clashed? Little ball boy was like 14 years old. And Eden Hazard went over. Hang on, I'll carry the story in a minute. Kyle Walker looking to cross one in, doesn't. Back to Kovacic. Inside to Rodri. There we go. It's the same again. Not really. Akanji gives it away. Akanji blaming other people then. You only got yourself to blame there, mate. Alvarez fouling a player, looks like it. But yeah, there was that incident with the ball boy, wasn't there? This was like 2013, 14, something like that. A ball boy got like held onto the ball because they were beating Chelsea, the Swansea ball boy, and then Eden Hazard comes over and like punches like the ball boy, like to punch the ball out of his grasp, and then Eden Hazard gets a red card for it. Do you know what that ball boy's doing now? He owns a multi-million-pound company sports drinks thing. He's got a business that's making millions and millions and millions. The ball boy does, apparently. How odd is that? What a really random story that was. Was it a kick? Did he kick him? Yeah, that was it. He was on the floor, wasn't he? And he kicked him. Yeah. But yeah, Google that ball boy now and see what he's doing. Like, it's unbelievable. Ruben Diaz with another long ball up to Haaland. It's an odd decision to go long today. Sevilla made more sense, you know, with the size of Guedel and Bardet at centre-back for Sevilla. I felt like they were there for the taking aerially with Erling Haaland. We saw the fact bloody Cole Palmer scored with his head against that back line. So they were there for the taking. They were there for a little bit of a direct route sometimes. Today, we're up against Shah, Botman and Burn, and we're going long. Kovacic. Rodri beating Guimaraes into Foden. Difficult 1-2. Comes off. Rodri looking for... it's just not working at the minute. That final pass is just a little bit loose. Jack Grealish brings it into Alvarez. Alvarez looking for a pass. Keeps the ball. Lays it to Rodri. Akanji's on the left wing now, everybody. What can he not do? Kovacic. Rodri, little dink. Back post. Kyle Walker. Can he... Oh, it lands into Pope's hands. I think it went out for a goal kick before Walker even got to it. Zubair says Cancelo in Walker's place. Nah, he's gone, mate. He's done, Cancelo. I think you've said that before, haven't you? I think you're a big Cancelo fan. I hate to break it to you, buddy, but I think he's finished at City. Long ball out to Anthony Gordon. We need another Kyle Rocket like he did against Newcastle in 18-19, says Big Am. Yeah, it was hard and low. The other end of the pitch, wasn't it? The opposite end we're shooting right now. He's got like one M a season, hasn't he, Kyle Walker? Foden, right down the middle, brings in Alvarez, space to run into, inside the penalty area, left-hand side, crosses it, hard and low, cleared by Botman. Good bit of defending by Botman. Haaland was waiting behind him, but it's out. And it's out for a throw-in on Jack Grealish's side of the pitch. It's all City so far possession-wise, but that's probably the closest we've come to creating anything, and it wasn't even a chance, to be honest. But it was the best attack we've done so far. Here's Kovacic. Ruben Diaz finds himself far forward. Back to Kovacic, and he's intercepted by Bruno Guimaraes. But it breaks to Gvardiol, back to Akanji, who's now left back, I think. So is that what's happening? Is this like... Haaland trying to hold up the play. Does. Good bit of hold up play from Haaland. Lays in Foden. Grealish on the left-hand side. Cuts onto his right. Come on, do something. Has a shot. Blocked. Lands luckily back to Grealish. Nice little cross. Deflected. Kyle Walker nods it back to Kovacic. Edge of the area. Kovacic. Blocked again by Joel Linton. Akanji and Grealish linking up. Akanji. Inside to Rodri. Good pass by Rodri into Foden. Edge of the area. Shot. Blocked again. Getting lots of block shots from Newcastle at the minute. Grealish tucks it inside to Alvarez. He was never on that, mate. Never on. It's last-ditch defending from Newcastle at the minute. Battered and bruised from blocking all the shots from City so far. Buggan says we're looking good so far. I think we are looking good, mate. Just that final ball. Just that final ball. That's it. Amy says Haaland has 2 people on him at all time. Yeah, he does. And that means there's someone free. If there's 2 players marking 1, that means someone, somewhere, is free. Mustafa says I'm lagging. You know, I've been watching a couple of watch-alongs today. And everybody's been lagging. I think it's YouTube because my internet, I get 900 meg download here, mate. So there should be no, and nearly 100 upload speeds. Anyway, Foden's in. Inside to Alvarez, shoot! Goal, Alvarez! Top corner, finished! Bang! What a finish! One clear-cut chance, and it's in. The best chance of the game, the first chance of the game, and it's 1-0 Manchester City with a delightful, delightful finish drilled into the top left-hand corner from Julian Alvarez. Lovely little cut inside from Foden. 1-0 Manchester City. Let's go! Wow. Out of nothing. Out of nothing. Let me know if I'm still lagging. I'll try and do something about it, by the way, guys. I don't want it to be lagging for you, but my speeds say pretty good. I think Nick Pope gets a little fingertips to it by the looks of that. Alvarez just one thought. Lovely finish. Lovely finish. Pep's Pep's little face. Pep's little face. Just woo. I love Pep. So good, isn't he? Foden and Alvarez running off together. The Blues are back in town. The treble winners are back in town. It don't matter if you won 5-1 against Aston Villa, you're in Manchester now. The treble winners are home. And it's 1-0 City. Come on. Foden creating chaos on the edge of the box. Says sub 2. You're absolutely right. Foden's been brilliant so far. Kovacic and Foden have been really good in the middle of the park. Really good. Alvarez drifting in as well late. You know, it seemed like an edge of the run type move from him. And yeah, if that's the plan for Alvarez to arrive a little bit late, I think the space that he found was because of what Amy said a minute ago, how two players are on Haaland at all time. Alvarez had all the space in the world then. He got time to control it inside the box. He got time to control it, lay it out in front of him and drill it top left-hand corner. So that's poor defending from Newcastle's point of view, but is it what Amy suggested and how Haaland's got two players on him? And the focus is all on him. And that means other players can step up. Hadley, good to see you, mate. What a goal, just got in from work. TV on, typical City watch long, and then bang, Foden to Julian, and goal. Love it, mate. Stay with us, Hadley. You're clearly a good luck omen. Yellow card for Tunali. It's not a yellow. That's not a yellow. What's the referee thinking there? It's only 1-0 though. And this team, Newcastle, Almiron, Isak, I wouldn't say Gordon, but, you know, Isak and Almiron, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, they've got goals in them. So 2-0 will be a very, very nice cushion for us to take in at half-time. Free kick to City, looks about 35, 40 yards out. No shooting distance from here. Alvarez plays it out wide to Foden. Back to Alvarez. Oh, he's overhit it. Oh, he's beat his man. Done well. Alvarez whips it in. Tonali clears with the head. Lands to Kovacic. Got to shoot. Volleys it. Cleared. Blocked. Alvarez and Gordon going toe-to-toe. That's not a foul, referee. If anyone fouled at someone, it was Gordon fouling Alvarez. He's the one who fell over and he dragged Alvarez with him. Good foul to give away, though, really, if he has given a foul. Oh, I just saw a chest from Alvarez who just like chests it over the head of his marker and lands it into the feet of Phil Foden. Lovely bit of play. Alvarez is cooking. He's sizzling in the pan at the minute and he is brewing something. He's getting better and better, Alvarez, at the minute. Real slow and steady. The thing about Alvarez is he doesn't really have like bad games. You know, he's always drifting inside 6, 7, maybe 8 out of 10s. I want to see that creep up a little bit, but he's never really been poor, you know, ever. I've never seen him have a genuinely bad game. And he can always... Hang on a minute. Almiron bringing it forward onto his left foot. Gvardiol sending him wide. Good defending from Gvardiol. Didn't lunge in, just stood with him and followed him, shepherded him away from the goal. All in City's half at the minute. The whole 22-man... 21, excluding Nick Pope, of course. Buggen singing Blue Moon. Big M, City clobbering Newcastle. Clobbering is a marvellous word, isn't it? Clobbered. Eddie Howe writing something on a piece of paper. What's he having from a takeaway later? Chipped into the middle. No one. Leave that. Shout there, Rodri. It's not cleared either. Clear it. Should have cleared that. We should have shouted. That should have been Edison's ball because it was a free kick. Really poor free kick from Newcastle. No one to challenge Rodri. And yet he still headed it and put us in a bit of danger. Almiron now brings it down. Corner of the edge of the area against Gvardiol. Onto his left foot. Blocked by Akanji. Combination of Gvardiol and Akanji. Good defending. Referees stopped the game here. Oh, shit. What is this? We're having a look at something. Handball, apparently. Never in a million years. Never in a million years. Get on with the game. Why are you even looking at that? And we're back on with the game. What a waste of time that is. Do you know, isn't VAR checks 30 seconds per check? So that was done in, what, 5 seconds? So we're now adding 30 seconds on to the game because of a 5-second VAR check. An almost redundant check. It was pointless. You know, there was no need to even look at that. I thought that was the rule. Every VAR check is 30 seconds added on. I thought that's what it was. Anyway, Grealish bringing it forward. Corner of the edge of the area. Inside the area. Onto his right foot. Blocked shot again. So many block shots. The little signpost, James, I think your name is, mate, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Says he's pleased to see City stepping up to the plate with KDB out. Excellent play. I think you're right, mate. This looks much more promising. Add a couple of creative signings to this, and it's all hunky-dory again. Big M says he can't wait for Khaldoon to show up the Premier League. That's just gone under the radar a bit again, hasn't it? They're not talking about that. It just seems to be a thing that happened and is now just a tag, a hat that we have to wear forever. 115 charges. We just have to accept that now. And like no one's nothing. I'm sure there will be a conclusion to the whole situation eventually, but for the time being, we're just labelled as the 115 charges team, aren't we? I couldn't give a shit, to be frank with you. I'd rather label ourselves as the treble winners. That's what I label us as. But everyone else needs something to help them sleep at night, and those 115 charges help them sleep at night. Bit of play from Botman there. First time volley pass, just knocks it over Foden, over to Dan Burn. Brilliant bit of play from Botman, that was. Almiron. It's a bit. Newcastle have stepped the game up, you know. It's been a lot of bit of possession from Newcastle the last 5 minutes or so. Get to half time at 1-0 and I'll be reasonably pleased because they're growing slightly into this game, flexing their muscles a little bit. I'm not sure we've flexed ours yet, to be honest. I still think there's more to come from this City side. Jonny, you're wearing my second favourite kit. The first being the Silva Eidos kit from that year that had the 2 go fast stripes down the middle. Oh, yeah, I think I remember that kit. Isn't that a third kit, that silver one? It wasn't even an away kit, that was it? How much can we get for Cancelo? Sounds like a loan might be more realistic first. Depends on what Barcelona are planning on doing, and their funds are not looking pretty good at the minute, are they? Barcelona are looking pretty short on the old dollar bill. So I can't see it being a permanent move just yet. And I mean, it's going to be a massive waste if City just keep sending him out on loan, then next year a loan, then all of a sudden he goes on a free. You know, this is an asset. You know, we've got a player that's worth money that we're losing money on. So it's in City's interest to get him out of the club, even at a deal price. You know, even if we sold him for 30 million, something like that, just get it out of the club. 30 million is better than sending him out on loan for 2 or 3 years. Anyway, Foden into Haaland. Haaland inside the penalty area. Shot! Just past the post. Drags it just wide. Nice little play down a channel for Haaland. Those sort of chances is what Haaland gobbles up. And he drags it just past the post. Lovely play from Edison, firing it all the way up to Alvarez by the looks of it. All of a sudden, we're in 3-on-4. Haaland drags it so close, just past the post. Good play from City, that. Took a deflection. It should be a corner. More levers, says Big M. Bloody levers. What are this thing that people, all these terminologies that people come out with from, that's Barcelona, with their financial levers that helps them wangle money around. Jeff, thanks for the super chat, mate. Thank you for your hard work. We appreciate you. Ah, nice one, Jeff. Really appreciate you, mate. Thanks very much. You've been a champion in this chat, Jeff. Really have. Not because of your super chats, just because, namely because of that call that you did. Palmer coming on to score. Unbelievable shout. What are you predicting, Jeff? What are you predicting? Who's next? Who's scoring next? Almiron trying to bring it under his spell. Can't. Akanji pushes him wide and then uses his strength and just muscles him off the ball. Good play. I must admit, the difference between Jack Grealish and Almiron in Buggen's favour, Buggen, if you're watching, I think you are, yeah you are. He can't keep the ball as well as Jack Grealish. He's definitely more of a direct player, and those types of players are not normally... I said in my preview that I think Pep would pick him. I take that back. I was wrong, because I don't think he would pick him. I would pick him, and I'm not Pep. So I'm just an idiot on a watch-along. So, but in terms of what Pep would do, I think, yeah, he would pick Grealish because of Almiron, but I just think Almiron offers that direct route sometimes where he just gets the ball and he just sprints at his fullback, which makes me wonder why he's going for Doku. You know, why are we going for Doku when he does that? What I just described of being direct is exactly what Doku is. I think Doku's going to give the ball away quite frequently, but I also think he's going to take his man on and be more direct and creative as a result. If Pep can... lovely bit of play from Kyle Walker, bursting his way down the middle of the pitch, actually on the left-hand side now. Nice ball out to Grealish. Grealish on the left with space to run into. Is he going to beat his man? He does go onto his left foot. Oh, it's blocked cross. Good effort from Grealish. That's what we want to see. Dragged it onto his left. Trippier read it quite well. Good bit of defending. Zubair says BT Sports now TNT. It is, mate. Almahu, what did I say? My words, I get hot and cold mixed up all the time. All the time. Drives my missus insane. She gets so annoyed. I'm like, oh, it's bloody freezing like that. Like, sweating. Rodri back post header cleared by Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, Almahu as in, like you're saying Almahu as in he's useless. I thought I just pronounced his name wrong. Foden. Haaland finds himself on the left side of the pitch. Doesn't want to be there, does he? He wants to be in the middle. Grealish. Free kick has to be. And he's not giving it. What a joke. Sarcastic thumbs up from Jack Grealish. Looked like a foul to me, that. He just stopped dead and the player went into the back of him, pushed him over. Looked like a foul. Tell you what, Buggen. If Almiron scores, you're fucking getting it. You're getting it. I certainly don't want him to score, by the way. I'd rather be wrong in this situation. And, you know, I'm not even wrong or right. I just put, I do think Almiron is last season just edged Grealish over the course of the season. But, yeah, it doesn't make you a good player one season. Got to keep going. Gift says he needs Haaland to score 2 goals. He's captain of my FPL team. I've not put him as captain. I think I'm one of the few people who hasn't put him as captain because I had a feeling he wasn't going to score today. I'm in the City Extra FPL League and the MCFC Lads League. And I think the City Extra League's got like, I don't know, about 2,000 people in it, 3,000, maybe 4,000 people. As of the end of last week, I was 6th. Wouldn't that be funny if I go and win the City Extra League? And in MCFC, lads, I think I was like 50th out of about 20,000 people. So I got off to a good start. I'm all right at fantasy football. Who's your favourite City player of all time? Jack asks. David Silva, probably. David Silva, probably. Anyway, Newcastle cross. Back post, Anthony Gordon cleared by Ruben Diaz. He's tried to control it, Gordon, then. He probably should have gone straight for a shot. Get to half-time. 3 minutes of injury time. And we are 96, 97 minutes into the game now. I'll take 1-0 at half-time. And they've given it away. Jack Grealish to Rodri. Kovacic's bringing it forward. He's got 1 minute to try and... Can we get another attack? Got to be Colin Bell, says Andy Scott. It's a bit before my time, mate. A lot before my time. 10, 15 years or so. 20 years, maybe. But yeah, David Silva. Going further back, like... I always loved Sean Goater. I always loved him. Just an ability to entertain and just score the scruffiest of goals. He'll score with his arse. He'll score with his hip. Like, score with his ear. Like, anyway, he'll score a goal back then. Like, I loved Sean Goater. Hadley saying Sean, I presume you meant Goater, not gloating, but yeah, and Ali Benarbia. Ali Benarbia was quality, wasn't he? Ail Berkovic and Ali Benarbia, that link-up play. Half-time. Good half. Good half. I'm pleased with that. Just let me sort the timer out. But, yeah, good half from City. Mostly dominated by City. Keeping the ball reasonably well. Little flurry of attacks from Newcastle there in the last 10 minutes. I think when we went 1-0 down, it's not like we sat back or anything. I just think Newcastle upped their game. And we know City can ride the storm if we need to. If we need to defend, we can defend. The question is, can this particular defence defend? And so far, they've looked assured. Everything that's come our way, there was that little half chance of a cross coming in from Almiron to Gordon. That was it, really. It was a cross. It wasn't even a chance, you know, and Diaz cleared it. A couple of times Almiron's on the ball and Gvardiol shepherded him away from goal, double teaming with Akanji and Gvardiol. So I haven't seen anything to worry about in the opposite end of the pitch. Edison's had nothing to do. Up the other end, Pope's not really had anything to do apart from pick the ball out of the back of his net from one good move from City, where Alvarez found a nice big pocket of space to smash it in the top corner. What a goal. Sean Wright-Phillips says sub 2. Sean Wright was quality, wasn't he? I was so gutted about his second stint back at the club, though, which is why you should never go for a player that you've already had at the club. It's never as good second time round. But that first spell of Sean Wright-Phillips coming through the academy as well, and you can't blame him for making that move to Chelsea. What was it, 21 million? He'd be like worth treble that now, wouldn't he? That particular Sean Wright-Phillips at that time, it'd be at least double. But yeah, so sad to see him go. And then he never really took off at Chelsea, did he? And it was almost a bad move for him. But yeah, I love Sean Wright-Phillips. That fourth goal at the Etihad, 4-1, with Trevor Sinclair, Robbie Fowler scored. I think John Macken scored as well. But that fourth goal, all the way down the touchline, somehow didn't go out for a throw-in, dribbling his way down the touchline, and then he drills it, clips the bar. Was it Fabian Barthez? Or was it... I think it was Barthez, maybe. I think it might have been. I can't remember. Smashes the bar, and then he just doesn't know what to do, so he does the robot dance. Like, what's he doing? But yeah, that was good. Losing Trafford is an L, says Mustafa. Yeah, well, it's hard to say. It depends what sort of goalkeeper he goes on to be. And 19 million is a W, isn't it? You know, so for a player of that age and he's unknown, I think that's good. 19 million. You're right in terms of the player. He may go on to be a player that we regret letting go, but Kinkladze's a shout, says Jack. Yeah, Kinkladze was quality. It was Barthez, says Hadley. Yeah, I thought it was. I was there that day. Me too, mate. Me too. Yeah, it was quality. I remember the first time I got to go into school after a Manchester derby and we won. I remember going in with my little City bobble hat on, got on the school bus because I had to drive a little bit away from where I lived to go to the school I went to. And got on the school bus, packed with United fans. And me being like one of 2 City fans in the whole year. And the bus was packed with United fans who just... The last face they wanted to see getting on that bus was my big, stupid, smiling face who went on smug as... with my little City scarf just shouting, City! City! To everybody. People who aren't even involved, people who don't even like football, it's just in their faces, just like being an absolute twat to everybody. Just, come on! Yeah. That was a brilliant day, that was. Sean Goater, that was the game I'm talking about. Gary Neville, howler in the corner, giving it away to Sean Goater. He makes it 1-0. Second half comes along, Isle Berkovic with his cushioned little pass into Goater with a nice little chip over Fabian Barthez. He runs off doing that in front of the fans, in front of the United fans. And that was Sean Goater's 100th City goal as well. Amazing, amazing. What a day that was. Last Manchester derby ever played at Main Road and we won it. Brilliant. King23 says the movement from the team is exceptional. I think it has been really good. I think the dynamic play in the middle of the park in this game from Kovacic, from Foden, those two in particular. I think Rodri, I'm not mentioning Rodri enough. I always do that. And I'm ashamed of myself for doing that. I don't go on about him enough. Like, he's so good. But I've just grown to expect it now, you know. From some players I'm unsure about, I'll big them up when they play well. Because I'm like, right, yeah, you had a bad game last week, so now it's time, oh, you're doing well? Oh, let's talk about you. Rodri's just always good. So it's like, Rodri's brilliant again. There he is. Ugh, Rodri's brilliant again. Ugh, like, just like, same old Rodri. Like, yeah, it's when he has a bad game, that's when it's like, oh, Rodri's had a bad game, let's all talk about it. But, yeah, again, Rodri's just been brilliant. That trio of Kovacic, Foden and Rodri, and he's just like... Rodri's in an attacking sense is what I actually want to talk about, because I think him going forward now, and I'm not just talking about like the fact that he scored in the Champions League final, the way Rodri plays creatively, the cross to Cole Palmer in the Super Cup final. What a cross that was. Perfection. And I mean, yeah, he's just going from level to level, as a lot of the players at this club are, and Pep Guardiola just... adds a new dynamic level to their game that we just never even saw. And I'm questioning Akanji, you know? Are we about to see him achieve a level that I never thought would be attainable for a player like Akanji? He seems to me like an out-and-out centre-back. Like, I was surprised to see him go right-back and then left-back again in the Community Shield, and now he's in midfield, attacking midfield. Pep doesn't make these decisions lightly, you know. He has a plan and he tends to stick with it, you know. He's not scattergun with his approach. He takes his time throughout summer. He'll come up with a plan and then he won't falter, you know. Plan B is enforcing plan A. There is no plan B with Pep Guardiola. He just believes in himself from the get-go. But looking from the play there, Rodri feeding in Foden and then linking up with Alvarez. Alvarez has been great as well. He's just been a free spirit, Alvarez, just drifting about all over the place. I think there's a bit more of a purpose to Phil Foden's shape and Alvarez's shape. Kovacic's shape, whereas Alvarez has been just a bit of a wanderer, a bit of a lone wanderer. Looking at him now, and he's all over the pitch. He's on the left-hand side right now. He scored from the right-hand side. There he is now on the left wing, just looking at the highlights. Our movement and understanding is growing with each game. Yeah, absolutely. Amy says, so sad Pep is leaving soon, but we'll like him to coach national team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when he's leaving. There was a rumour, and it wasn't really... I had to take it with a pinch of salt. I was in I think it was in the Times. I read an article in the Times about a week or two ago that it was a very small snippet that there were rumours of Pep's speaking about extending his contract, potentially. wasn't that credible a source, so I wouldn't read too much into it. But I read it with high hopes, thinking, oh, come on. What a amazing that would be if we could get another 3 years on top of this year from Pep. It'd be incredible. Gvardiol looks solid, or is it just you? It's not just you, mate. Yeah, I actually think he's just positioned himself. I've never seen him lunge into a tackle that aggressively, but I think he will if he needs to. If the ball's there to be won, he'll fucking go through you like a train. But I think he's good at... he's quick enough to just guide players away from dangerous positions and just use his presence to let them know that they're there. And he's done that with Almiron really, really well. Can't see Pep going, says James. He has extended. No, I'm talking about beyond the extension that he'd already done. You know, going. When's he actually? What's the date? Isn't it not the end of this year or the next year after? It's 2025, isn't it? I mean, I don't see why we can't, because it's few and far between. You know, the days of Ferguson, you know, sticking around for 20 plus years. Obviously, he's from the UK. Pep's from Spain, so is he at home? Like, in his head, is he at home? I'm sure he is in a way, but I've always lived in Manchester my whole life, so I don't know what it would be like to live abroad and how you feel. Do you feel at home living abroad? I don't know, but he seems at home to me. You know, his kids are all attending school here and university here, and they all seem very, very settled, and hopefully he can stay. That'd be brilliant. 2024, says Amy. 2024. That's worrying, isn't it? So it's the end of this year and then the year after that. 2 more years. Lucas said you had 5 years in Manchester for uni. Did you feel at home? But yeah, no, I hope City can go on to the into the second half now, because I think Newcastle are going to come out a different force. They're going to come out with purpose. They're going to approach the game a little bit more aggressively. I think we saw signs in the end of the first half that they were growing into the game. I think they didn't want the halftime whistle. I don't think we really did either. We weren't really under the cosh, but they had a lot more of the ball. We weren't really under that much pressure though. Lucas says Manchester was okay, but still, as Lithuanian, we have kind of a stigma of Lithuanian chavs, right? Yeah, do the Manc chavs not live up to the Lithuanian chavs? Yeah, not good enough. You're right, our kid. Let's enjoy the Pep era while it lasts. It'll be sad to see him go, but let's not be sad while he's here. Yeah, you're right, mate. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's just in the back of my mind, Big M. You know, it's just there, like, he's going to go one day. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I like to think the club have planned for this. And watching, I've said it before already, looking at United and how Ferguson's departure just destroyed the club. You know what I mean? They fell apart after that. Even though they claimed to have a plan, David Moyes was the plan, and or was it? I don't think it was. Wasn't Pep supposed to be the plan? What's that guy called? I've forgotten his name. What's his name? The guy on Stretford Paddock, the one who went on about when they were linked with Pep Guardiola. What's his name? But anyway, he was going on about Pep Guardiola. And what a brilliant player, what a brilliant manager he's going to be. He's won it all, He's going to come to United, best club in the world, best manager in the world. He's won it all. Then he signs for City. And he's like, Pep Guardiola, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee with Pep Guardiola. Just like eating his words, trying to retrieve the situation, but knowing that he's on a losing battle already, that it's just like, it's done, mate, it's done. The United era is over. City are in town now with Pep. But we have to plan. We have to plan. I know you're saying enjoy it while it lasts, Big M, and I absolutely agree with that statement. But there's, yeah, you know, failing to plan is planning to fail, as they say. Your chavs are different in Lithuania. In what way? They carry AK-47s. Amy says Newcastle played Pep tactics there for a bit. Possibly. I mean, do you know what? So many teams are playing Pep tactics. It's like they're just copying him, really, isn't it? Like, I mean, Mikel Arteta, you saw the performance. I don't know if you did, but if you didn't, have a look at the formation or find a heat map for Partey, where Partey played in that game. He was right back and then inverted, exactly like Pep did. You know, Partey, when we didn't have the ball, he dropped to right back. When they did have the ball, they had three at the back and Partey tucked inside. Trent Alexander-Arnold, same again. Right back, without the ball, with the ball, tucks inside. You've seen my name spelt 4 different ways. Can you give us the accurate spelling? It's Jonny. But that's just my nickname. You want my real name? I can't give it you. No, I can. It's Jonathan. That's my full name. But I've just always been called Johnny. It's been a long half time, hasn't it? Been a long half time so far. I feel. When did it bloody finish? I think we've gone beyond the 15 minutes now, haven't we? Or do they do 20 now? There's Eddie Howe. What's that guy's name? He's number 2. The guy who got all the headlines for being so sexy, apparently. That's why he's like... So he got all the headlines because he's so good looking. Like, makes nothing to do with football. Jason, that's it. Jason what? It's on the tip of my tongue. Jason Tundle, isn't it? Something Tundle, something like that. How's the missus feel about losing to Spurs? Jeff asks. I can hear doors slamming around in the house. That's probably not getting picked up on the microphone. But Hadley, cheers for the super chat, mate. Thank you very much for that. It's really good of you. Thanks for over the year I've been watching your channel. The effort and step in production and graphics this year are treble worthy, my friend. Thanks, mate. That's really good. You guys are the best, man, honestly. Little boosts of confidence you guys give me. Amazing. Thanks very much. Second half's about to get underway, and it is. Yeah, no changes so far. Same 11. Everyone's still in the bars, as they always are. Lots of empty seats, which... This is when everyone now takes the photos, isn't it? Everyone takes the photos. Oh, look at that. Empty seats, empty seats, empty seats. That's what they do. They wait till this moment, and then they take the photos. They're all at the bar. The place was packed before this, but they're all at the bar. And I can testify how shite the bar staff are at the Etihad. They are abysmal at serving pints. They've even got a pint pouring machine. You know, like they just put like 100 glasses in this pint pouring machine, and they still end up with queues that just take the whole of half time to even get halfway through the queue. No wonder there's so many empty seats. They won't be back for 10 minutes. Anyway, long ball into the City half, cleared by Akanji. The food's bloody good at the Etihad though. Crossed in, back post into Dan Burn, nodded back to Isaac. Is he pushed? Is he pushed? Offside. Ref blew, and I thought, oh no, he's given the penalty. Mustafa 3-0. Still on, isn't it? Is that PS4 games on the shelf? Blue Chand. It is, mate. Yeah, a couple of PS5 games behind it. I've got a shelf of Xbox games up there. I'm a big gamer, mate. Love my games. I'm a PC gamer as well. I've got a PC that's all this is coming through as well. I've got a Steam library full of stuff. I'm obsessed with games. Yeah, my missus loves me. A City fan who's obsessed with gaming, and she's a United fan. Who... Nah, she's great. She loves me, and I love her. Johnny, what's your drink of choice? What, alcohol? You're from America, aren't you? You might appreciate this, maybe, if you're from Boston. Anyway, Sam Adams. I'm a big Sam Adams fan. I do like Sam Adams. That's my favourite beer. Other than that, I'm from Manchester, mate. It's got to be Vimto, hasn't it? It's got to be Vimto. I'm not a big drinker. I will have the odd one. I'm not going to start drinking on watch-alongs just yet. Anyway, Newcastle bringing it forward. Joel Linton out to Anthony Gordon. It's all Newcastle so far into the area. Shot blocked by Joel Linton by the looks of things. And it was, because it's a City throw-in. Only Varane has scored for United so far. Is that right? Is that who scored for them? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And that was a joke of a decision at the end. Onana coming out and just like clotheslining, decapitating whoever it was he went through, the Wolves player in that last minute. A stonewall penalty. Yes, Vimto, says Blue Chand. I can tell people who are from City Extra because I know that's the lingo on City Extra, isn't it? Yes. That's their slogan, isn't it? Yes. City Extra. Everyone's got a little slogan, haven't they, on their channels? I like it. It's fun. It's good. Oh, hang on. Ball in from Newcastle. Back post to Joel Linton. Inside to Anthony Gordon. Good bit of play from... he's booted it over the bar. Not a great start from City so far. I mean, more of a good start from Newcastle than a poor one from City, but we've got to ride this storm. First 5 minutes, keep it at 1-0 for the first 5-10 minutes, and then stamp our authority on the game. Because this was to be expected, to be honest. Blue Moon beer is nice, and that's a City bias. Yeah, Hadley, absolutely. I think my sister took a photo of that once when she was in a bar. Never had it, actually. But anyway, long ball up to Haaland. He's in. Edge of the area. Shot. Block. Oh, it's a good save. Straight at Nick Pope. But straight away, Route 1 football seems to be working for this City side. And it's a tactic that's been employed a little bit more often in recent weeks and months under Pep Guardiola. Tonali's lost the ball to Rodri. Grealish bringing it forward. City are on the attack. Good opportunity this for City. Bit slow, though, with... so many Newcastle players back now, though. Rodri out to Ruben Diaz, to Kyle Walker on the right-hand side. Whips it near post, no one in there. It's all the way back to the back post. Trippier sees it out for a throw-in. Grealish looking good, says Mustafa. He's been all right. Sorry if you hear a bloody strepsil rattling around in my mouth. Got a cough. Do you know what it is? It's watch-alongs. I think I need to get like speech. I need to go to speech classes or something. Because my throat, it fucks your throat, you know. Talking for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. That's one thing I'd never predicted would happen with watch-alongs is vocal damage. You're going to bore the streams with cover love, but he's looking like a Pep player already. No, you're not, mate. I agree, Hadley. It's absolutely a Pep player. But the thing with Kovacic is he keeps the ball like Jack Grealish does, but he has this ability to burst through players. He carries the ball really well and beats players. You know, he's deceivingly quick on the ball, Kovacic. And he's strong as well. You've seen the size of his shoulders. Like they're out here, aren't they? Alvarez looks injured, walking a little bit gingerly. Back on his feet. That's one thing I've never seen, is an Alvarez injury. Apparently he was injured for the Sevilla game, though, but even then it's like he came on for 6 minutes. Hopefully he can... he can stay fit. Sip some Vimto, yeah, mate. I've got water here, but it's effectively Vimto. I've had a purple flavoured... If purple's a flavour, it is. I don't know, a blackcurrant purple flavour. Anyway, Alvarez chipped. Oh, it's rubbish. Bit of a waste that was. Over the top to nobody. Yeah, we seem to have ridden that little 5-minute storm from Newcastle then in the beginning of this half. But we can't forget, this was meant to be Newcastle 5-1. Newcastle against Aston Villa. I say that, they're coming forward now. Here comes Anthony Gordon against Ruben Diaz, who doesn't want to be against him. Great tackle from Ruben Diaz. What a tackle. I said he doesn't want to be against him because of his speed. Yes, he does. It doesn't matter about his speed. He reads the game, sees what his intentions are, and then he tackles him brilliantly. And that's a foul all day long, referee. Are you going to play on? Gordon's gone on a yellow card there. He's on a yellow card and he's just gone through. He's just gone through Ruben Diaz to the point where Ruben Diaz is holding his shin. I mean, this could... I haven't seen a replay, but this could potentially be a straight red for Anthony Gordon. Hang on, let's have a look. Nah, it's not a straight red, but it's... You can ask for a second yellow there. I guarantee you they won't give it. Because it's the cop-out, isn't it? The easy decision. Referee doesn't want to get overly involved in the game and ruin the game. Well, ruin it for the neutral at least. Joel Linton gets a yellow card as well. But he's hurt himself in the process. A big side, aren't they, Newcastle? Big, big units. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure that is a yellow, to be fair. I'm not sure. I think, yeah, I would ask for it if I was a City player. And I think, yeah, if he gets a second yellow for that, it would be hard to argue. But I think the ref's taken the easy option there. Free kick to Newcastle in their own half. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Gordon comes off in a minute, because they've got Harvey Barnes as well, who I thought should have started, to be honest, and he's just not been great at all. Anthony Gordon so far, he's not really offered anything going forward. I don't think he did against Aston Villa. He was the one who came off, and Harvey Barnes came on, gets an assist and a goal, which is why I'm surprised he didn't start today. Hopefully Harvey Barnes won't have that same impact that he had against Villa. But yeah, I was going to say before... How much does this game just settle the whole nerves and the big picture of Man City right now? The whole big picture of Paquetá's not come in, we haven't signed enough players, we're about to play Newcastle, we've got Bernardo Silva out, John Stones is out, Kevin De Bruyne is out. It was all very doom and gloom. And we're 1-0 up against Newcastle. A very, very scary Newcastle side that were in form. They beat Villa 5-1. Quality players, and we have a little bit of concerns with the squad depth, and we're 1-0 up. So Anthony Gordon's coming off. I think Joel Linton's coming off soon as well, because the City players have been surrounding him with a bit of like votes of sympathy. It is Harvey Barnes. He's come onto the left-hand side, and Joel Linton going off is a big, big blow for Newcastle and a big plus for City if he goes off. Yeah, he's off. Joel Linton's going off. That's great. For City, I mean. Not the fact that he's injured. Do I think Walker's forced himself a first-team spot as deserved as it is, but with transfer issues this window? I don't know. I think we read a lot into Kyle Walker's Bayern Munich thing. I think he was just putting the squeeze on City. I think if you asked Kyle Walker behind closed doors, I know that his children attend a school. My mate's kids go to the same school as Kyle Walker's kids do. I mean, that means nothing really, does it? I mean, I might be talking nonsense here, but I know they're incredibly settled in Manchester, and so I really didn't think that move was ever going to happen. I never mentioned that in the videos because I don't think that's just pure conjecture what I just came out with. But anyway, City bringing it forward. Akanji really far forward again. Rodri very central, gives it away. He was never really on that ball. But no, I think we underestimate how important Kyle Walker was last season, because we're going off recent memory of how he sort of ended the season not really involved as much. But the first 2/3 of last season, Kyle Walker was very, very involved. And I think Pep's probably found a space for him, and there will be certain games where we really need him. Anthony Gordon being on the pitch, the speed of him, Harvey Barnes as well. It's a like-for-like replacement in terms of Gordon for Barnes. They've both got speed, so therefore Walker's still needed. He's a worrying one that's a potentially, in terms of he's one big injury away from being, the beginning of the end for Kyle Walker. If he received a big injury where you come back and you're not the same player and you can't run as quick as you used to, he's pure speed, isn't he? Like, his game is speed, and without it, I think he would dip. It wouldn't be the same player, would he? It's like Jamie Vardy. Him getting in behind. Now he's in his mid-30s. Defenders are catching him up. He's not beating anybody anymore. But Jamie Vardy in his peak speed was devastating. No one was catching him. Once he's past you, he stays past you. Same with Walker. But, look at Kovacic there. Good bit of play. Was manhandled by Bruno. A bit soft, to be honest. Kovacic does well to just stop. I don't think he was getting on the end of that ball, Kovacic, but he forced the referee into a decision. Barnes got a yellow card. I missed that. I thought that, Amy said. Walker was great in the Champions League. He was not in the final. He didn't play in the final, did he? But in terms of previous games, he was, yeah. Still waiting for Kovacic to miss a pass. Haaland's in. Haaland. Oh, he's tackled. Good tackle. Just not quite landing for Haaland at the minute. Foden was brilliant then. But it sends Haaland through, trying to burst through. Good defending though again. Botman and Shah, they've been solid. I want to see us go down the right side more. Take Burn on a little bit. I really think... Here we go. Foden versus Burn. Knocks it past him. And he fouls him, surely. That's a foul, referee. You just saw exactly what I was talking about. Foden knocked it past him, and you could tell immediately it was just like that. The speed of Foden. And Foden's not that quick. He's quick, but he's not that quick. And he had him all day long. Do that again. You get him under pressure. Get him on a yellow card as well. Almiron bringing it forward. Knocks it back. Akanji reads it brilliantly. Lays it off to Alvarez. And here comes a City counter-attack. If they're quick about it, hurry up. Grealish has played it backwards. Well, to be fair, the counter-attack might not have been on. We've got the ball. Keep the ball. We're 1-0 up. Gvardiol bursting forward, tackled, and it's gone off Gvardiol for a Newcastle throw. Again, no real chances. It's been a game of few chances, really. Not many to speak of. In fact, I can't think of any outside of Alvarez's goal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Any proper chances. It's not been a poor game though. It's not like the standard's been bad. It's just two good teams, really. It's been a tight affair. I mean, we're potentially looking... Hold on a minute. City giving away a free kick. Not sure what for there, but... but we're potentially looking at the future rivalry in the Premier League in terms of the two teams that... if Newcastle go about things right, the way they spend the money, the Saudi money that's come in for Newcastle, their spending has been odd. When they got taken over, Newcastle, I thought they were going to be splashing the cash. Free kick to Newcastle anyway. Bruno, back post, Edison's ball all day long, grabs it. 0 shots on target from Newcastle, says Buggan. 58% possession for City. But yeah, Newcastle haven't really... I actually... Oh, Edison fires it right down the middle. Oh, he's giving it away, but Foden picks it up. Out to Grealish. Grealish is very, very deep. Very deep. And I think that's purposeful. Bringing it forward well. Gets us into an attacking position. Grealish playing well there. Drifting inside. That's just Grealish in a nutshell, isn't it? Just getting us to the edge of the area. Then stopping. And City are now in an attacking position. He does that really well. I just want him to just do something a bit more once in a while. Just beat his man and do something like do a step over. Try knock it past him. Use your speed. Foden bringing it right down the middle. Got options. Haaland, nice touch. Haaland, gotta beat. Oh, it's just past the post again. Haaland's having a bit of one of those nights. You can tell he's feeling frustrated. Nice touch from Haaland to get it onto his left foot, onto his favourite left foot. Good ball from Foden. Foden's been brilliant so far. And he sort of scuffs his finish a little bit. It wasn't as close as the last one. Foden finding more space again. I'm liking Foden in the middle more and more. The more I see Foden playing in the middle, the more I feel happy about it. Link that with Kovacic, and those two players like keep the ball. They keep the ball well, but they're not just like, you know, keeping it for keeping its sake. They're keeping it and doing something with it as well, like that, like we just saw with Foden, bringing it forward and laying through Haaland, driving at defenders. 77 likes. Thank you very much, guys. Here's Foden again, bursting through onto the edge of the area. Plays in Haaland. Haaland inside the box, turns onto his right foot, shoots, saved with his foot from Nick Pope. It's coming. Haaland goal is coming. You keep giving Haaland chances like this, he's scoring in a minute. He's scoring in a minute. He has to be. Foden's been brilliant this half. Little link-up play with Haaland. He got a bit of stick last season, Foden, for his link-up play. And rightly so. Some of the times was like to square it for a tap-in to Haaland. A couple of times. And he just didn't. It looks like he's learning. And he's playing behind Haaland rather than alongside Haaland. And maybe that's why he's in his vision a bit more clearly. Bit of a David De Gea save that from Nick Pope. David De Gea is pretty good at stopping the ball with his feet. Any save's a good save, really, if you're a goalkeeper. Doesn't matter how you save it. Palmer in, Grealish out, says Mustafa. Hang on a minute, Almiron's bringing it forward. He's got Akanji and Gvardiol to deal with, 2-on-1, but they've left the man inside, Bruno Guimaraes, similar to the Alvarez position, but a very, very different finish. Shit is a word to describe that finish. It was very, very similar to the move, though, in terms of Foden bringing it forward, who laid it, cuts it inside to a big, big gap for Alvarez, who smashes it in the top corner. Does the same with Almiron to Bruno Guimaraes, except he completely whiffs it, scuffs it, and it trickles about 20 yards past the post. Here comes Callum Wilson. Isak. No goals for him. Elliot Anderson coming on for Tonali coming on. Off, sorry. Still only 1-0. Still only 1-0. It only takes a chance, doesn't it? It only takes a moment. Little slip, little error, mistake. Got to get that second goal. Lovely touch from Kyle Walker. Right onto the touchline. Edison pinged it at him. And he cushioned it to Foden. But it is back with Edison now. Edison down the middle to Rodri. And brilliant play from City. Brilliant build-up play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Newcastle players taken out of the game. Kovacic driving forward. Plays it back outside to Kyle Walker down the right-hand side of the pitch. Kyle Walker. Big, booming switch of a ball. Has he? Yeah, he's underhit that. Trippier just nods it back to Pope. Rush that, Kyle. He didn't need to do that. He could have drove forward a little bit with it. Yeah, Hadley, I'm surprised they've taken Isak off. They need goals. Callum Wilson, though, isn't it? It's speed as well. Here he is, Callum Wilson bringing it forward. Alvarez tracking back. First time cross from Wilson. Walker looks to be seeing it out for a throw-in. Harvey Barnes is on his shoulder. Walker boots it down the line. Still in play. Haaland nods it back to Rodri. Rodri to Kovacic. Now Akanji. City looking to control the ball a little bit. Triangles between Akanji, Rodri and Kovacic. Foden keeping the ball in City's half. 7 Newcastle players inside the City half. So there is space in behind. If we can get through that, make use of that space. Gvardiol with a lovely ball into Akanji. The control is looking good again. Grealish, get a touch on it. Foul, referee! Foul, referee! Is he blown or what? Akanji didn't look like he'd even heard a whistle. Grealish just got wiped out then. It's not really a red or anything, but I mean, it's... Couldn't see the referee blow or anything. Place, yeah, it's a free kick though. To be fair, all wingers should play both sides, says Sub 2, because they rarely play in the middle. I agree. I'd like to see Jack try it on the right, you know. I know Pep naturally wants players to turn inside, but that's with this idea. When we had Sane and Sterling, that was a left footer on the left side and a right footer on the right side. And I think that's more suited to Erling Haaland, in truth. I think the guy thrives off byline crosses. Crosses that are coming in parallel to the goal line. You know, not he can absolutely thrive off through balls, through the channels, breaking the lines and passing it towards the goal rather than across the goal. He can do that, of course, but I think his bread and butter, his game, it's just tapping, isn't it? That's what he lives off, like putting himself, and he finds himself in positions in the box that he just shadows and ghosts into positions where defenders can't find him. We saw it against Burnley. I know it wasn't a pass, it was actually a header from, oh shit, Rodri's giving it away, one-on-one with Diaz. Gvardiol back, and Gvardiol, has he seen the danger? Harvey Barnes, long shot, Edison, save. Rodri, first time I've said his name pretty much, and I've got to say it in a negative way because he slipped and gave it away. He holds his hands up and says, sorry. He got caught on that, Rodri, in the middle of the park, and Newcastle were in. Gvardiol does well there, really well, to see out the danger, allow the City players to get back, get their shape, force them into a long shot, and Edison saves. Still, little warning shot there from... Another City player's gone down holding the legs. How many times, referee? Just get your yellow card out and they'll stop doing it. Is it Dan Burn or it's Bruno Guimaraes? Another, that's dirty, that. That's a yellow card all day long. Yeah, Buggin says, get the yellow out, for fuck's sake. Absolutely right. Got my laptop on here and that bloody Rashford goal has just flashed up on my little screen. I don't know why. What am I watching here? That offside goal from Rashford, that was a joke last season. Still pisses me off, that does. VAR were looking at that one apparently, but it's... has he booked him? I believe he has. I don't need any more injuries, do we? Ref's trying to rig the league, says Bigger. Rodri, long ball all the way up to Walker. Brilliant ball. Fantastic ball from Rodri. Got no help though. Walker's on his own. He's got to go back. Does go back to Kovacic. Into Foden. Rodri. Akanji's got a man on his shoulder. Man on. Gives it back to Ruben Diaz. Kovacic. Lovely. Brilliant from Kovacic. Breaking the lines. Newcastle, 3 or 4 Newcastle players killed out the game. Alvarez trying to dink it to Foden. Wasn't really on that ball. That's brilliant from Kovacic, that was. Little ball then, just like, no one saw that. Almiron, Akanji trying to get back to Almiron. Gvardiol, double teaming. And inside Gvardiol, reads it brilliantly. Well done, Gvardiol. I celebrate tackles more than goals sometimes, I do. I'm a defender when I play. Well, actually, I'm more of a defensive midfielder, but I prefer the defensive side of the game. I love a good tackle, me. Got spare water. I knew I'd run out today. Sheffield United next. I know I'm jumping the gun a bit, but that just feels a bit better, doesn't it? Like Sheffield United, I think they're going to be the whipping boys of the Premier League this year. I've got a bad feeling for them. Fear the worst for Sheffield United. Arsenal play Monday night as well. Come on, Palace. Anyone watch Liverpool today as well? They didn't. I put them down as third this season. I think I take that back. Looking at their defence, they won 3-1. But if you go and watch the game, that first half they were terrible, terrible. Akanji under a bit of pressure, but dealing with Callum Wilson's presence pretty well. Gvardiol sent forward, and he obliges, brings it forward. Overruns it a little bit. Grealish, fouled, yes. Jeff says Liverpool didn't look good. No, they didn't, mate. I don't know how they won 3-1. Including McAtee, James says, yeah, they've lost some great players. And Berger. They sold Berger, like their main centre midfielder, to Burnley, who've also gone up with them. I don't understand that. That's like waving the white flag before the start of the season, isn't it? Selling your best central midfielder. You know, having already lost McAtee back to City. Free kick to City, crossing position. Jack Grealish, Foden standing above it. Probably going to be Foden. It is. Whips it, cleared. Kovacic knocks it back to Alvarez. Alvarez back to Walker. Walker fires a long ball up to Grealish. Grealish tries to nod it into Foden's path, but difficult ball for Grealish to do anything with. Rolls out for a goal kick. United look miles off it too. They absolutely do. Could Chelsea spring a bit of a surprise in terms of a challenge? Because they look better against Liverpool. It's how quickly they bed in all these new players, isn't it? With that new midfield that looks tasty. Not going to lie, it looks pretty good. But, you know, it's over the course of the season. How good does it look? There's spaces popping up here for Newcastle. I'm not liking the look of this attack. And they're coming forward again. City are looking a little bit laboured. We look a little bit tired. Getting back, struggling. Almiron, they're in. Back post, free. Overhits it. Cross gone out. We've got to get out of it. We need some changes here. Because they look tired. It's the Sevilla game. Of course they look tired. Harvey Barnes. Foden trying to get out to him. Bruno Guimaraes, edge of the area. Coming inside onto his right foot. Passes it out to Almiron. Almiron tries to send Trippier. Does. Trippier crosses it. Back post. Cleared by a Rodri header. Vital. Not away entirely though. Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side of the pitch. Bruno coming in again. Fires, overhits it. Gotta be. No, he's kept it inside and he's won himself a throw-in. Jack Grealish and Almiron. Buggen, are you watching? Yeah, he fires the ball off of Grealish for a throw-in. But they're growing into this game. We're riding another storm here. We need to, I think we need to get some fresh legs on. Get Ake on. I think Akanji off. And get Ake on for the final. Or even Alvarez off and Ake on. And add another man in the middle. Maybe a bit early for that, actually. But I don't mind winning 1-0. Yep, Jeff said it. Bring Ake in and play 5 at the back. Yeah, I don't see the harm in that. I think Pep's wised up to... well, wised up. It's not like he was an idiot before, you know. But in terms of... you know... he's become a little bit more of a... Everyone used to say, oh, City have won the ball. Rodri bringing it forward. Just not into the path of Haaland. Dan Burn intercepts and brings it forward. But City were always known as like, it doesn't matter. It's always attack with City. They're 1-0 up, so they'll always go for a second. I don't think we always do now. We're quite sensible in the way we play. Jack Grealish clatters Almiron with a fantastic tackle. 1-0 to Buggen. Harvey Barnes is beat. Walker crossed in to nobody, but it's back post to Almiron. Almiron whips it. Jack Grealish blocks it again. 2-0 to Buggen. And it's still not away. Newcastle are growing and growing into this game. Foden trying to bring it away. He does. He stays on his feet and he bursts forward with all the space in the world. He's got all the grass to run into. All the grass. Harvey Barnes is getting in. Plays it to Haaland. Oh, it's brilliant defending. It's intercepted by Shah. Those two, Botman and Shah, have been brilliant. And Dan Burn, for me, has not been exposed enough. Yeah, I am bugging. Shh. No, I think Grealish has been all right. I don't think he's been brilliant. I don't think he's certainly been an improvement on that on the Sevilla performance. I think Grealish just knew that there was going to be no alcohol at the end of that Sevilla game. So he's like, I'm not going to bother. Can't get pissed. Oh, crossed in. Grealish clears it. Brilliant from Grealish. Grealish is defending really well. He's really deep. Really deep. Just a long ball up to Haaland and he's in. And he's not. And he's... Come on, Haaland. He's not been... It was the ball for him to win there. He just seemed to overrun it. He just didn't seem to go for it. Yeah, you're right, Hadley. He is. He absolutely is. Jack Grealish has been brilliant defensively right now. Good play. Good play from City. Driss says they feel so bad for our players, especially Rodri. No help off the bench. Yeah, you know what? It's like, he's asking a lot, isn't he, Pep? He does. He's never really been one to change... Distance covered, just looking at that. Foden, Rodri, Kovacic, Alvarez, all above 9.5 to 10 kilometres. Wait, Rodri, 10 kilometres, having probably did the same against Sevilla. He's a machine. Haaland's using his strength. He's giving away a free kick. He's got the cut of a frustrated figure, Erling Haaland. You forget how young he is, you know, the mental side of the game. I have a feeling he's incredibly strong-willed, but anyway, Newcastle are bringing it forward. And he's let it run out, Harvey Barnes. 10 minutes to go, it's dragging. This game is dragging. It feels slow now. I'm not liking how long's to go. And we've seemed to be... battening down the hatches, defending, and then hitting Haaland on the long ball. And that seems to be our tactic at the minute. And it's a long way to go for that tactic to come off and come away with a 1-0 win. Well, anyway, here comes City. Lucky break. Foden bringing it forward. Alvarez overlap on the right. He gives it him. Alvarez bursting into the penalty area. Haaland bursting in. Crossed. Blocked. Can it go back post? No. Cleared. Almost cleared. Still not really cleared. Looks like it's going up. No, Dan Burn prevents it from going out for a City throw-in. Still in the corner. Rodri's picked up, keeping the attack on, and he's played it all the way back to Ruben Diaz. City have the ball now in the Newcastle half, which is what we want to see. Thoughts on Dani Olmo transfer? I just don't think we're going to get him. I think we have to break the bank. I think if we do get him, I think we have to pay massive fee. He signed... a contract with RB Leipzig in June, 2 months ago. A new contract that sees him out till 2027. So next year he's got a contract, a buyout clause, a release clause of 55 million, I think. I think then if we went for him, I think, yeah, we'll pay that and we'll get him. And it'd be a good player to get. But right now you're looking at paying 75, 80, maybe even 90 million. Hang on a minute. Pep's screaming at a City fan, a young City fan, telling him to... He's obviously been gobbing off this City fan next to Pep, and he started pointing at him and said, "You come and sit here and do my job." It's good. The lad was laughing, in fairness, but I think it was in jest. I don't think it was serious. Anyway, long ball up. City broke. Foden bringing it away. Foden's been great. Foden's been brilliant, and he's brilliant again. He's got Alvarez ahead of him. He plays it to him down the line. Just keep the ball. Foul. Foul. Come on. Who remembers when Tim Sherwood was manager of Spurs and he went one step further than what I just described Pep Guardiola doing in terms of pointing at a fan and saying, "Come and do my job"? He actually invited a fan to come and sit in his chair, didn't he? And that fan was just sat there just like, "Oh, fucking hell, what's going on?" Like, unbelievable. Brilliant. Imagine Pep inviting you down in a match to sit next to him because you've been gobbing off. Yeah. Foden man of the match, says Mustafa. I think you're right. It's a toss of the coin between... Yeah, I think even now, I think overall Foden, yeah. It's him or Kovacic for me. Edison with a nice little dinky ball to Ruben Diaz, who's got a bit of space. City look tired, man. There's a lot of shoulders down and like puffing and panting. The movement's gone really pedestrian and sluggish. Foden looks lively. He's the only one really who's carrying the ball. He looks knackered though, but I mean Rodri's got to be tired. It's at the back where we need legs. Foden lays it to Akanji. First time football there from City. Grealish. He's got to pass it there, Grealish. Kovacic into Rodri. Back to Kovacic. Oh, man on. No. Ruben Diaz with a nice ball. Good idea. That Foden was on his heels a little bit there. I don't think he was expecting that. It was a good ball from Diaz. First bad word I've had to say about Foden all game. Still deserving of his man of the match for me so far. Still 6 minutes to go, so that could change. But Grealish picks up a loose ball. Dennis says Haaland so underrated, Mbappe so overrated. I don't think Haaland's underrated, but there is an argument about Mbappe in terms of I don't think he'd fit in this team. I don't think he works hard enough, and in terms of Jack Grealish's work ethic, people have been talking about it in the chat, and that's one thing I'll always be like pleased with Jack Grealish, his defensive contribution. You know, his ability to get back. Mbappe never, ever, ever gets back. And it's just one of the area of his game. Now, obviously, the other end of his game is ridiculously good. He's lethal. But we've exposed PSG time and time again. Whenever we play PSG, we've been the better team. It's games like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. They're the games that worry me. Almiron's coming off. They're the games that worry me because they have talent and work ethic. Whereas PSG, I knew we were going to beat them. I felt more confident. They've got flash in the pan moments. They've got Neymar. Well, they did have Neymar and potentially Mbappe at the time, who's also on his way as well. But I think they're glad to see the back of them. Now they can rebuild and not have these luxury players. They can have players that work for the team. It's not all about the big I am, the egos of Mbappe and Neymar. Like players that actually work for the bloody team. All right, big one. Calm down. Pipe down, mate. Jackie Grealish. Getting a bit carried away there, mate. Hey, Mustafa. I like it. I like it. Almi off, not Almiron. I enjoy crap jokes like that. I do enjoy. They're good. Akanji reading the game well. Big booming slide tackle where he just boots it into the air. I like that. Rodri keeps the ball well. Jack Grealish. Lovely turn from Jack Grealish. Plays it inside to Rodri. What are we on? 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go. City players work hard, as do our commentators like Jonny. Thanks, mate. I don't work as hard as City, definitely. Cheers, Jeff. How much added time we bet in? Hi, Max. You alright, mate? I'm going to go for 6. Hasn't really been any injuries, has there? I can't think. Alvarez. Foden's got big space. Got to get it. Finds him inside the box. He's got Kyle Walker overlap. Phil Foden. Oh. He didn't really make his mind up one way or the other there. He could have either held it, allowed for Kyle Walker's overlap to get into his position for Walker to actually lay him in, or really focus on getting onto his left foot and getting a shot away. He sort of half-heartedly goes onto his left foot, and Newcastle closed the door and blocked the shot. Cheers, Dennis. There's loads of YouTubers, mate. I'm glad you've picked me. Thanks, mate. 6 minutes added time. Is that? Are you ahead of me, James? Is that what it is? That was my prediction. Big M's betting 7 minutes. Cheers, Mustafa. Haaland's got big space. Only himself to do anything here. He takes it onto his right foot. Can he lay in Foden? Good ball from Haaland. Foden's in. Foden right foot. Ah, he's dragged it. It's rare to see the other way round, isn't it? Haaland bringing the ball forward. Bit of space. Tucks it onto his right foot. Lays in Foden. Normally the other way round, isn't it? Foden beats Dan Burn. That speed difference there. We've just seen Dan Burn getting battered for speed. And why we've not gone down that side more often is beyond me. That's their one weakness. I had Newcastle fans coming to me in the comments in my preview about that particular statement, saying Dan Burn is their weakness. And I think he is. I think he is. Jack Grealish with a corner. So it must have clipped Pope. I didn't think it was a save, but he must have saved that. Jack Grealish, got to be a short corner, waste a bit of time now. Get Haaland over there. Stand in the corner for a bit. It depends how much time there is. Crossed in. Over every ball. All the way out to Alvarez. Alvarez lumps it back in. A bit wasteful, that, from Alvarez. Could have kept the ball there. We've given Newcastle the ball back now, and they're on the attack. Long ball down. Walker reads it brilliantly. Wilson's on his shoulder. Offside, though. Take that. Take that. What we saying? What we saying? Injury time's about to pop on the screen. Foden's giving it some of that. He's giving it some of that. Man of the match, Phil Foden, has been awarded by TNT Sports. They are in agreement with me, and probably most of you as well. James is about 20 seconds ahead of me. I'm going to get proper Sky in this room because I'm streaming this, and I'm going to pay for full-on Sky because I jib this, to be honest. It's with Sky Go, but it's not my account. Anyway, Walker's got all the space in the world here, bringing it forward. I wouldn't waste this now. Just keep it in that half. Don't try and cross it now. Just keep the ball. See out the 5 minutes of added time. 5 minutes of added time is... I'll take that, considering how long it can be with all this new wasting time nonsense. No one's been wasting time. Maybe they got it right, the referees, because they did say that time will start being reduced because you'll see less people wasting time because they know it'll be added on. That's great. So you've addressed time wasting. Now fix getting everything else bloody wrong, like VAR, like horrific handball decisions. Fix that. Bloody time wasting was on the cards. I agree with that move, but now VAR. Get it right. Seems like every league in the world gets it right except this one. We get laughed at by other countries with the way that we call ourselves the best league in the world, in which football-wise we are, but officiating-wise, shite. Alvarez trying to wiggle his way out, worm his way out of a situation there, but it's back with Nick Pope. There's plenty of time left for Newcastle to get an attack. There's probably one more chance in the game for them if they can get the ball forward, but That's the question. If. Because they have the ball right now. Haaland looks knackered. Big ball to Wilson. Akanji wins the tackle, but Ruben Diaz finishes the tackle off. Kovacic bringing it forward. Brilliant play from Kovacic. Wins the foul. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant play from Kovacic. Fantastic. Exactly what we need in that situation. Pep screaming with all his airport plane landing signals to get all the players into position. Whatever movement that is, I'm sure they all understood it perfectly. Clattenburg hated City. He was well, he wouldn't be reffing this game, is he? He was a Geordie, isn't he? He's a Newcastle fan, isn't he? Clattenburg. Grealish. He thought about it then. Plays the ball off Trippier. Good bit of play that from Grealish. Seeing out the time. Now's the time to throw it in the corner. 1-0 isn't a bad loss for Newcastle. Probably not, really, considering. Here we go. Haaland in the corner, as we expected. Look at him. Hey, he's doing it again. He smiles again. I love it. I love it. He smirks again. He can't help himself, can he? He's such a cheeky monkey, isn't he? Just boots it off the player. Out for a corner. They're doing it again. Short corner. Haaland gets the ball. Oh, he tries to boot. Oh, he failed that time. Alvarez picks up the ball, though. Still with City. Gvardiol trying to send it back into that corner. Haaland trying to play it through. Nice little dinky ball over to Foden. Is he going to see it out for a corner? Nope. City keeping the ball, or keeping Newcastle pinned in that corner. And it's a goal kick. Chance for them to boot it up the pitch. They're going to be quick about it as well. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. They haven't even got out. Since the added time went on the screen, they haven't even added... they haven't even gone into our half, to be honest. I'm surprised. That's credit to City. Game management. Brilliant game management. Big M's shouting, Haaland, Haaland. We need a better song for him, don't we? He deserves a better song than Haaland, Haaland. It's good, but... 30 seconds to go. Pep's fuming at something. Yeah, he's giving the ball away. They're lumping it up. Edison out of his area. Just get it up the pitch. He's booted it out for a throw-in. Quite high up the pitch as well. This is a chance for Newcastle. One chance in the game remaining by the looks of it. Newcastle throw-in. Very high up. They've thrown it backwards. Kovacic coming out brilliantly. Fantastic from Kovacic. Brilliant play. Yes, final whistle, I'll take it. That's it, Blues. That's it. That's what we're talking about. No need to panic. All these injuries, all these players that we're not signing, and Newcastle 5-1 against Villa. It was like, oh no, it's all going wrong. No need to worry. No need to worry, because this team, this manager, this club are in control of things, and this is great. Watching the way they're celebrating, this meant something to those players. The way they're celebrating now is good. It's not league-winning, celebrations, but there's a little bit of a message here in the watching those City players celebrate like that. Little bit of a message sent to the rest of the Premier League, because I guarantee you the rest of the Premier League will have been looking at this game and very quietly and confidently behind closed doors thinking Newcastle are going to do something against City. I guarantee you a lot of predictions will have been in Newcastle's favour, because you're going off the performance against Sevilla, you're going off the Villa performance from Newcastle. I guarantee you they were quietly confident. Arsenal fans in particular thinking they were going to do that. And Haaland, looking at his face, buzzing. He's had a tough game in front of goal. He's had a tough game. His finishing was a little bit offy, a little bit sloppy on the ball. But to see him celebrate like that, it's just a team player. It's just, yes. It doesn't matter that he's not scored. The team won. Brilliant, 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 brilliant performance. Fantastic. Sheffield United will be the next watch along. I'm going to jump on a new live stream, and I won't bugger it up like I did last time. I'll try not to anyway, because I put I can't remember what I did for the Sevilla match reaction. I put the Burnley thumbnail in for some strange reason. I don't know. I was having a mare, absolute mare. I'll try not to have a mare this time, but I'll jump on a match reaction and do a quick match reaction after this in the next 5-10 minutes or so. So join me for that. Blues, thank you so much for joining me in the chat again. It's been so fun talking to all of you again. Like I say all the time, I kind of hope I don't grow so none of you disappear in a list of chats that I can't keep up with. Part of me wants that, part of me doesn't want that, because I'm enjoying talking to a lot of you. It's been really, really fun, really good to hear you. And you're sensible Blues as well. You know what you're talking about. It's good. So, brilliant. Join me in the next one. Join me in the match reaction. And I'll see you in the next one, Blues. Take care.